Check one, two. Green should be going. Do you want to start early? No, Ed. No. No, I don't want to. No biggie. Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, two. Orangey. What you got on Orangey? Check, 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 check. High pass filter on. This guy on here, check, check. Fucking Lord have mercy, dude. Kidding me. Connect the left, dude. Connect the left. Okay, check, check, check. That mic is on. That one looks good. Check to this one. Check to this one here. And I am good on this one right here. We are rocking. Okay. Billy the Kid. Okay. Let's see here. Getting the last of the stuff set up now. I'll be in touch. Give me about 10 minutes and should be ready. All right. Check one, two. All right, that's not too hot. Here looks low. All right, check one, two. Check one, two. Reading this. Check, check, check.
Two, check one. Check, check.
take this down and turn this one up. Make sure we're coming in okay without being too hot. This is Island Moon Thursdays on Larry Elizondo's Power Hour. My name is Jacob Boggs. I've got Jay Gardner here with me. We are
Radio.
Full-on pirate radio.
Yes.
Make sure you're on the right mic and make sure this isn't coming in too hot. This is KUKA Driscoll, Texas, Corpus Christi's Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3. Y también en Retro Tejano 104.1. And we are also on Island Moon Live. If you just go to YouTube and jump in on Island Moon Live, you can find us. Make sure we've got... how's the audio sound on your end?
Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
You got it in the phones?
Yeah.
Well, the Morning Wave had some technical difficulties. They're messing with some stuff. They'll be back on tomorrow.
Or, sit with that silver.
I don't know about you guys, but I miss them already.
I miss you already.
I know. Well,
there's a good story there.
When I wake up late, or I'm up with little ones and stuff through the night, and I get a chance, I don't catch the Morning Wave. I always go back and listen to the podcast, and it's so entertaining. Because there's things that I'm missing that I didn't even know I missed.
Right.
You know? Like
people adjusting mics and jumping around and getting coffee and all that stuff. Oh, I forgot to get coffee already.
Oh, this is part of it. If we need, we can go on a commercial break. I mean, that's
no,
it's
fine.
Pirate Radio. We're steering the ship, and we're glad you're with us this morning, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. Getting this fired up nice and early.
And we'll get Anna Swanson on here in a minute once she puts her phone down. I'm just kidding. But you have to get up and eat the mic,
you have to
right?
eat the mic. So yeah,
you have to get right on top of the mic, Anna. And you can put on the headphones. That way you can get some that goes through the monitor. You can figure out what you're doing. Yeah, spread out, get comfortable. So Anna's a little tired today because she went and saw Cage the Elephant last night. So
nice.
So did you see Cage the Elephant in Austin? She was at the Austin City Limits Festival this past weekend too. Were they playing this past weekend?
You can pick the mic up too if you need.
Oh yeah.
Get it comfortable. There you go.
There you go.
Talking to the side, right there.
Can I talk? Am I going to ruin the show?
No, absolutely no.
No, Lauren and I went and saw 10 Years last night and saw Ricky and Jacob out at Brewster's. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So how was Cage the Elephant last night?
It was awesome. It was at the Selena Auditorium. Real small, real intimate. They were rocking.
That's interesting.
It was a great time.
Have you seen them before?
Yes, I saw them at Float Fest 2017 in San Marcos, and they were so much fun. So I was excited to see them at ACL. Caught a little bit of their set, but I knew they were going to be in Corpus, so
that's awesome.
I left to go somewhere else, but I'm glad I got to see them the whole show in Corpus.
There's always something so much cooler about like when a band puts on a live performance that actually has so much stage presence and gets everybody involved. Like it's just that,
Plus, I wanted to support them coming to Corpus. I don't feel like bands like that with big names come that often, so I was definitely all about supporting that, showing people that there's a crowd down here that wants it.
Right. So how much were tickets for the Corpus show?
$50.
Yeah. Okay.
And then better seats ranged a little bit higher, but
for a headliner band, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's like you go to Vegas and that's like pennies.
Yeah, right.
If it's not 100, you don't feel like you've earned anything. And it's like, come on, really? Like,
right.
I paid all this to see Donnie Wahlberg? What the heck?
Right. I saw tickets. So next weekend, Turnpike Troubadours and the Randy Rogers Band is going to be at Concrete on Saturday, and tickets are $114 for that.
Well, we're already in our fall concert series.
Yeah, ouchie.
Right? There's
there's so many bands, and
whether
hopefully
the weather's here or not, the bands are coming. It's
and then hopefully when we get Ronnie Narmore in later, he can kind of run through the bands and what all's going on with that. So, but backing up to introductions, Anna Swanson works over at the Oyster Hatchery in the Bluff, right? So, do you guys hatch your own oysters from spat, or do you get the spat from someplace else and grow them on the tables?
So it started that way. We collected wild oysters, and now we've had a few generations where we've created now this breed for Texas farm-raised oysters. So I think we're on our third or fourth generation.
So
that's awesome.
So many questions. Okay, first off, that's awesome.
Generic questions.
Yes,
but
I
yes.
had no idea. We have an oyster hatchery in the bluff.
Yeah.
Right behind Barney Davis. You can see
Absolutely.
Barney
Right
Davis
over there.
from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cannot see the hatchery, but you can see the Barney Davis.
Well, I
for
knew
sure.
I knew we had a fish hatchery and
Right. The
and-
Texas Parks and Wildlife. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
same property.
Okay.
Same property.
Okay, and how big is the? Do you know
The facility?
Few acres. What's the
Oh,
size? Or is this like a lab or? How?
Yeah, this is probably like an equivalent to maybe like 2 or 3 double wide trailers.
Okay.
But we do really cool work. You know, it's really
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
real small, but a lot of
So-
cool things happen there.
And I know a lot of our friends out listening in Radioland. A lot of them are oyster connoisseurs as well.
Right.
And so the whole thing is it's like a badge of honor every fall and into every winter. Once we start harvesting oysters and getting oysters in, we always gauge like the amount of brine. You know, we'll some of us will get boat sacks, and people will taste them, and then try and guess where they're from, which is really only about like 4 or 5 certain places, which makes it kind of easy. So it's almost like it's like shooting fish in a barrel,
Right.
But it makes us feel good about being oyster snobs, knowing like this is brinier than last year, or this is waterier than last year, and being able to kind of have that.
Or saltier. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got that certain like the jus, right? It's got the terre noir, as it were, and we're like redneck French wine connoisseurs.
Yeah, but through oysters. So
Okay, so keep going. So the oysters that you're raising in the hatchery, they're literally from right over in the Laguna.
Yes.
Okay.
Right outside your back door, and that's what it originally started from. And
So I'm guessing though that you have to cut if you're intaking water from Laguna, you have to cut it with fresh water because
oh yeah,
It's too
oysters they
hypersaline.
like what 15 to 23 ppt, something like that.
yeah. We have an interesting area down here because we're in what's called a mixing zone. So you have your northern oyster, which is your 15, 20. They're happy.
Right.
But we have such saline waters down here that they can thrive up to like 35.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
So
No, that's awesome.
Nick Meyer joining us. So how long have you been working at the hatchery?
Since March. I'm very new to the hatchery, but I've been in the industry for about the oyster mariculture in Texas industry for about 2 years.
Okay.
And so that started, I worked on a farm pretty much straight out of college because I got this really suspicious email in my college email. It was like
right.
3 sentences. It was like, do you like to work on a boat? You want to do physical labor in oysters? And I was like, sure. I'll see where it takes me. And now I'm fully into the oyster industry, fully embedded, which I
So
love.
who was that? Who was that first job with?
It was with Brad Lomax's farm.
Yes.
In Copano
Brad.
Bay.
Yeah. So Brad is a good friend of ours for sure. So he supports CCA, and of course, yeah, he was the first permit to get through Texas. So for
Yeah, he
raising
worked a lot
oysters.
with the legislature up in Austin
He
too to get the
did.
whole
He
thing
did.
going. Texas is the last state on the Gulf
Jeez,
to do
right.
oyster mariculture, which is pretty wild.
Awesome. Well, get your lassos out. We've got Amanda, the oyster rancher, with us.
Anna.
Anna
the
Swanson.
oyster rancher.
Yes.
Anna Swanson. Okay.
And so, are you guys doing? Is the purpose for research or learning production?
We're doing research for the industry to make this perfect oyster for farmers that's growing fast, has a lot of meat.
Full of pearls.
Full of pearls. Yeah, exactly.
No, you don't want the pearls in Texas. But we're selecting these oysters with these really good traits that are easy to shuck. Everything that's important to the farmer and the consumer and the restaurateur.
So how long for the oysters you're looking for? Are you looking for 2 and 3/4?
That's what
or
Brad
3
always
inch,
said.
or
Yeah, the
what's
2.5.
Down
yeah.
here in Corpus and on the actual water, we want like a 3-inch oyster at
Okay.
least. I mean, that's what people grew up getting from the bays and the jetties and collecting themselves. They're used to that big meaty oyster.
So from the double wide and the bluff, how long does it take to grow them?
About a year, not long at all.
So they get to almost 3 in a year from the little salon
I'd
spats?
say if to get to a 3 a year in a couple months.
That's
but
impressive.
we just have so much nutrients in our waters down here. They're so warm.
Nutrients, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we do have really healthy bays. A lot of our seed goes out to farms and leases
Okay.
that already exist.
Okay, so,
that's where
you are
we-
giving your seed out or selling
Right.
the spat. Okay, I
Right.
gotcha. Then there's that other facility in Palacios run by Joe Fox.
Yes, PMAR, Palacios,
Right.
Mariculture Agriculture Research Group.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. That's funded by, oh, shoot, who is that? Anyway, yes, so they produce a lot of spat up there for the oyster industry.
Okay, so many questions. Let's start with what does it take? I know there are GLO leases that are in Copano. That is, and that's where you cut your teeth on, right? That was Brad
Right.
Lomax's farm is up in
Right.
Copano, and there's a few others there. Is there any other place on the Texas coast where they're growing oysters in like in a farm like that?
Oh yeah. I want to say us growing it in the Laguna Madre is the furthest south it goes. I think there's talks of one being further south and maybe like Baffin or even further south.
Are we too
all the way up to
hyper
Galveston though.
sailing south of
Yeah.
here to grow them?
No.
What's the-
Well, it's sometimes in the Laguna it's running 40 parts. They just grow slower, right?
Well, that's our southern oyster that we
Oh,
grow.
okay,
Is
gotcha.
You got your southern and your northern because it's so saline down here.
It's like a regular oyster. It's just got this long draw to it.
Yeah, right. So
Accents, totally.
I've always had a question. So how do you take oysters from spat that are the size of half of a dime? Do you just go put them out in the water in those big cages like that? Or is there an intermediate container for them?
So it starts all the way from sperm and egg, and
Right.
we grow it from a microscopic larvae, and it'll be free swimming for 2 weeks in basically like a 30-gallon barrel, have millions of
Right.
larvae in there.
Don't tap dance. I'm gonna check
Yeah.
the audio levels.
No, good.
And, then at that point they'll move to a different area in the hatchery where we'll set them, and so you mix them with sand so that they'll be free floating oysters once they get out to the farm.
Okay.
So an oyster has to set.
It has a set on something.
And that's the part no one ever. You only see the oyster when it's fully grown, and you just appears there. Not really, you don't really
right.
know
Don't
how
know
it
that
gets
it
there.
actually grows together. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. But it's swimming for a while, and then it finds a place to set, and it'll stay there for the rest of its life. So we attach it to sand,
Okay.
and then once it does that's completed that metamorphosis, it'll then be a free floating rock the rest of its life. And we'll grow it to maybe the size of your fingernail, and then
Right.
that's when it goes out into the farm.
Right. And then so what do they do with a big wad of those? They come in a small
Yeah, you can put them in a Ziploc bag.
yeah.
Put them in
Wow.
a Ziploc bag, and or like big tubs
Yeah.
out of the water.
So, Jay, real quick, I can hear you. We're not getting you on the radio. Say a few words.
Yo.
Let me just check.
Do I need to eat the mic a little bit more? Bump my levels a bit?
No, I'm hearing it. It's just not broadcasting through the radio. And our buddy Jeremy cued me into it. So let me. Oh, I know what it is. Gotcha.
Oh, you got to turn the mics on?
No, they were on, but you're on YouTube. You just weren't on the radio.
Oh, well,
So,
that,
yes,
you
exactly.
So it sounds like a one-sided conversation.
Exactly.
Anna
I
go,
know, yeah. Well, Anna and
The
I
good
were having
side
a great
of the
talk.
conversation.
It was nice of you to join us, Jay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Anna Swanson, oyster rancher, Nick Meyer, man amongst men, if there ever was one, joining
That's
us.
it.
Good to see you, buddy.
How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
I
Not
see
too
we've got
bad.
a weather front to the north of us by the look of it. Looks like some good big clouds.
Yeah,
It'll be
there's
raining in the
stationary.
next hour.
But the weather looks great, actually. So if
Sunday looks really good. I
Yeah.
was wondering about these oyster shells. When I first went to Rockport, they used them for building everything. I mean,
Right.
a few years ago. Do they still do that?
now they try to get them back in the water. That's what they're
Just
doing
the
at
shells.
Albies.
They
Yeah.
take them down because they used to put them on roads and everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Oyster Crete.
Yeah.
If you're driving through Rockport and on your way through Fulton heading north, and you go by Albies and you see the huge, massive pile of white oyster shells, where are those going back to?
Right. They're supposed to go back into the bay where they came from. So typically that's Copano Bay.
Okay.
And then, right, so they shuck them and sell them in by the gallons or whatnot, and save the shells, and then put them back in, because that's the best way to grow an oyster is on an old shell.
Is with an oyster.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
This legislature has had some legislation to give tax credits for these people that reintroduce the shells back into the bay.
So back in the day when
Well,
they
there's a
started
sack tax if you don't. Right.
Really?
Exactly.
Okay, I didn't
yeah.
realize it was. I thought it was an incentive thing, not like a tax.
No, that's why the oyster prices have gone up, and which is absolutely fine. And we've had these discussions over many years that we're willing to pay a little bit more more for an oyster. That way, it's a sustainable fishery.
Exactly. Well, and I hate the term sustainable because it seems so like trite and contrived these days because everything's got to be sustainable. But
Well, it's important because the reefs were disappearing. That was the whole idea. They weren't
The more
putting
you
them
learn
back.
about it, the more you realize. And I remember the Little Bay. I did some drone footage way back in the day in Rockport at the Little Bay Oyster Reef that they were putting in, which was kind of an experimental setup at the time. And they were so happy with the results. I think didn't they do something like that off of the bayfront here in Corpus?
Yeah, it was for shoreline erosion though. So, but they put hard structure down,
Okay.
sort of in the name of growing some oysters. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Right there off of Ocean and Dotterwood, right? Is that what you're talking
Yes,
about?
yes, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's real recent. So then they put the structure down, and then PMAR, we were talking about in Palacios, they'll come out and they'll put larvae
Right.
on there to set on that reef.
The Ed Rochelle Foundation. That's the name that I couldn't think of.
Outstanding.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
so cool.
And they're going to do it in Packery Channel. They're putting a living shoreline there, not a living shoreline, but it's going to be actually like almost a jetty just off the shoreline to protect the erosion.
Yeah.
But when they call it a living shoreline, they basically mean barnacles and oysters grow on it.
Yeah,
You don't have to.
And serpulids and all the fun stuff. So, yeah.
All the pulids and exactly. All the cephalopods and
Yes.
I remember that time Tyler ran down that.
Yeah,
cephalopod.
that's right, up at the river.
Anna Swanson, Oyster Rancher. I feel like you've got the coolest business card ever.
Yes.
Oh, I don't have no business card. It's not
You're not marketing.
not something we can. It's on an oyster shell. Just hand out an oyster shell.
That's great.
Yeah. When you finish a delicious oyster, you just be like, hey, that was me.
Right.
Well, oysters are they're filters, right? And they can each oyster can filter up to how many gallons a day?
They say 50, right? That's a number I always hear is that one oyster can filter
Yeah.
50
gallons
gallons
of water.
a day.
Well, and my thing is like I
Water.
never thought of looking at an oyster and saying thank you for your service. But it's-
Right.
yeah, they
Most people don't know oysters are alive.
Yeah.
Right. They just look like rocks there. But they clean our bays and provide habitat for small fish to grow up. And so, CCA, we're seriously involved in oyster habitat restoration. We've got $5 million on the table for the Mesquite Airs Carlos Bay system. Now that we got that shut down in the legislature to oystering, we can get busy with restoring some of these. The great thing about those reefs that they are right inside Cedar Bayou, right? So that's that whole estuarine ocean coupling there. So when the redfish and the flounder and the trout all spawn right there in the passes, their eggs come in and they have some place to land.
So give us a quick introduction for those who are just joining us. Good morning. It is 7:06 outside. It's a gorgeous Island Moon Thursday here out with the trout and the redfish. Anna Swanson, Dr. Brian Gully, Jay Gardner, Todd Rankin. Do we have you on the mic, Dale?
I think so.
Yep,
Okay,
there
yes.
he is.
And, Nick Myers joining us as well. We've also got Nick Colosi. My name is Jacob Oggs. We're glad you're with us. Jay, give us a quick kind of lowdown on what kind of conservation efforts have been going on between like Third Channel Islands and Ayers and Carlos Bay and all that. Why is oyster conservation so important in that area?
Well, it's important in there because of the ocean estuarine coupling that I just told you for a fishery standpoint, and also, as you would say, those are kind of a baffle set of
Yes.
oyster reefs.
So yeah,
that
tip
keep-
of the hat to Chuck Nazer.
Yeah.
that's his.
So
line.
Texas Parks and Wildlife recently went and did a thin seeding in Mesquite, and then the most recent effort is in Ayers Point. They're right inside Cedar Bayou, part of the baffle chain, right? So it's the baffle chain that comes out from Matagorda. So
And these were open to what kind of harvesting was
They
it?
just
like
mow it down,
scrape
harvesting.
harvesting? What do
Yes,
you call that? I
exactly.
mean, it's-
So they just they scrape it below the mud line. So there's been a lot of reefs that have been restored over the years. Dollar Reef was a good one there in Galveston Bay, and they said soft limits for 2 years, and so we restored this bay, put a lot of caliche down, and then they opened it to harvest, and it was gone in 4 days below the mud line.
4 days.
Yes, it was 5-6 feet high in some areas.
Yeah.
It was gone.
Wow.
Just gone.
And
Mowed,
so,
mowed,
and,
mowed past the mud line.
Anna Swanson joining us this morning. Just a full-on oyster rancher, if there ever was.
That's right. Do you wear a
Yeah.
straw hat or something?
Yellowstone Dutton Oyster Ranch in the back of the bluff over by Barney Davis. So from a science standpoint, how's the lookout? Like, is everything optimistic? Are you finding that that growing sustainable oysters is something that's like
I mean, yeah, it's 100% net gain to the bay. We're seeding, we're putting oysters into the bay, and then once it goes to the restaurant, you're putting that shell back into the bay to take the pressure off of the wild reefs that we've just totally decimated.
And so that's really cool to know that that they're going to seed that shoreline breakwater down there. Have there been other projects like that up and down the coast that you know of that PMAR has seeded, or is that kind of like the first one, or this is canary in the coal mine?
I'm not fully sure, but they're based in Palacios, right on Matagorda. They may have a couple projects out there. That's the only one I know of because I drive by it all the time. There's also Galveston Bay Foundation does a lot of work with Living Shoreline
Absolutely.
up in Galveston Bay.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, they're good. They're a very good partner of ours. Yeah.
But
If you left an oyster, how big would it get? I mean, like,
I
if
mean-
you didn't touch
so
it.
within a year it grows to about 3 inches, and you figure that's about perfect harvest size for a restaurant.
for down here, right?
Yeah. But so what's
I mean, it could keep growing and as long as it's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we found oysters in that intake channel back by Barney Davis that were this big.
Yes.
Like
Mc-
the size
McKee
of a
has
hot
one
dog,
that's
right?
like
Yeah.
it's almost 2 feet.
Really?
It's like, oh my gosh,
We're
it
gonna
would feed
need
a
lot
family.
more
Yeah.
saltines. Yeah.
Yeah, you need no more saltines and a lot more lemon.
That'll
Yeah.
feed feed 20 tourists or 2 people. from the
Jeez,
bluff.
Louise, right.
And you
To
find
cut
these giant fossilized ones too. If you
Right.
dig around, this was all submerged, most all of Texas, and you'll dig in the hills of Laredo, for instance, and find these giant oysters that are
Yeah.
fossilized.
Well, I think it's interesting. Off of Ocean Drive, I was digging a fence post with my father-in-law back in the day, and we hit a layer that was just all oyster shell because that was the old driveway for the house. It was all oyster shell, and that it kind of spurred on the thought to say, okay, well, what oysters used to be everything from roadways to driveways to all that, and now we're at the point where it's like, well, we can just farm these things, and I mean, you would imagine if you call it like $1 an oyster is a decent price at a restaurant. Would you say what's a fair price for an oyster at a restaurant?
Yeah, it's getting closer
About
to
$1.
2, but yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
already
so-
shucked.
Yeah.
Or they just hand you a knife and go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sign this
different restaurant,
liability
yeah.
waiver
That's a restaurant
first.
in Port Aransas right
Yeah,
there.
right. Exactly.
You
Aransas
bring
Pass.
your own knife, though. It's-
Yeah, right.
So how do you get them to do the business? I mean, do you put the two together and just wait for it to happen, or?
They're
I mean,
I don't
what's
think
the
they breed that way.
You-
Oh yeah, what's the bit? How's it going?
I mean,
How do you
Oyster
basically-
sex
get them?
101.
Yeah.
you basically take
always been
both of their
Yeah, right, yeah.
both,
Both the bits.
both sides that make a baby, and then you put it into a bucket and basically mix it around, and then it'll grow from there.
One
Basically
plus
what
one
I
equals
do.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, yeah. That's my strategy.
We're learning all about oyster husbandry here on
Yes,
Island
exactly.
Midler Stays. So okay,
Do oysters like the high saline content? They do better in that, or they
It-
don't care.
If they did, they'd be
depends.
everywhere, yeah.
They really hate the low saline. So
Right.
when we get a bunch of
Freshwater.
rain, I mean that'll be
Up the
just-
coast, it'll wipe out an oyster
Yeah.
stock up there.
really?
But we've with our seed that we've created, our line, we call them our Noras. We have a nursery in Keller Bay, which is just south of Palacios. And whenever Texas gets a bunch of rain, all of that feeds right into Keller Bay and Palacios. And earlier this summer we had given them, so much X amount of seed, and they said we had gotten seed from Alabama and we got y'all's seed, and with that rain, everything from Alabama died and 90% of y'all survived.
Okay.
So that's really encouraging to hear that the genetics do play a really strong role in.
That's awesome.
And-
Good.
So, like tracking around the kind of the curve of the Gulf Coast, the further north you get and the further over, I know there's a distinct difference between like Maine and Baltimore,
Chesapeake.
Chesapeake
Yeah.
oysters versus that. Can you tell the difference? Can you just go eat an oyster and be like, that's from Destin, Florida?
Yeah.
It smells like Toby Keith.
The ones in Florida, they say they're a little sweeter, which is
Really?
very interesting to describe an oyster as, but
Yeah.
once you try, you can taste it. The ones in Alabama and Louisiana are a little bit fresher. Ours are salt.
Yes.
But even in the same bay system in here, there are 3 farms operating in Copano Bay at one point, and you could have an oyster from each of those farms, and it'd taste totally different.
Because they're different oysters, right? It's like a
No.
different brood stock, or are
It's-
they all the same?
It's all the same oyster.
Interesting.
It's just because it's a sponge that it just soaks up what bay it's in, and
What
it
the water-
represents exactly what
the water
where it is.
quality is. Yeah.
Can you tell the difference between a male and female by looking at it?
You have to look under a microscope.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the only way is you prod them a little
You know,
bit and see if you see a sperm or egg.
If you notice this area, and then this is maybe a question for Jay, but traveling around the world, I have never been any place that grows barnacles, maybe in this case oysters as well,
Yeah.
as fast as this place does.
We do,
And I mean, you go to Hawaii and,
Yeah,
and there's nothing grows on the boats.
Right.
If you go to Caribbean, you go to Israel. But you come here and you put a boat in the water, and within 4 days, there's barnacles growing all over. the
You
place.
better get it out in 3.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they're
That's right.
growing.
If you're putting it in the water for 3 days, you got to get it out by the
Yeah.
second
By the-
day.
yeah.
Well, it's like Blake used to say, even down here, even the PVC rusts.
Yeah.
No,
we-
that's very true.
We have the perfect amount of warm water and salt for them, so there's not a whole lot of competition with anything else. So.
And the
I
other
love
thing I've noticed is like if I put a dock in at Port Aransas, right, in Isle of Moorings, those pilings stay there for 30, 40 years. If I put up the same piling, and that's the Wallmanized, the marine treated pilings, if we put them here in Packard Channel, they'll last about 10, 12 years, and they'll take a 12 by 12 piling and eat half through of it within 10 years.
Right.
It's just amazing that the worms that eat this wood
Right.
grow, and I guess because the current and
The
they
serpulid
stay-
worms.
they stay
Interesting.
oxygenated.
They're serpulid worms. Actually, they bore in there.
I didn't ask them what their name was. I just saw the damage they did.
Right. Yeah.
There's no name calling.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
Exactly.
But they're bad, and they'll eat up those pilings
They're-
like
it's
crazy. And
the-
I think it's because of circulation. In the stagnant water, they don't seem to grow quite as fast as they do in that.
I know
moving
in
water.
Japan you see oyster growing operations offshore everywhere. They've been doing that for 40 years or probably longer.
Yeah. Texas were the slackers.
I've always wondered why the clam fishery on the East Coast is massive,
Yeah.
right? But you come here, now you find clams on the beach heavy, sort of south of the 50,
Yeah.
but no one ever harvests them here. But up on the East Coast, it's a real big fishery.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't tried one of those, Mercenaria.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
We have those clams in the Laguna.
Oh,
In fact,
really?
many years ago, I got a little dredge, and I started a little business of dredging. There's certain areas you learn to find. Wade fishermen will tell you where they are.
Yeah.
But they're the same type clams. I mean, you have to take them out of the mud, and you kind of suspend them for a couple of days, and they'll kind of purge
Flush
themselves
that
and
out.
clean all the mud and sand out. And they taste like the clams on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But I never was able to get it
I
going.
had,
This is 30, 40 years ago.
A school in Portugal on a lagoon, and harvesting the clams there. We used to go out and get them, and we'd put them in a sack and leave them.
And then just hang 'em on
and
the
they-
pier, yeah.
Yeah, they'd clean themselves
They'll
out,
purge,
and
yeah.
they were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have scallops here too. We just don't have the concentration of them that they do in Florida and other places. You
Yeah,
can
I've
be
often
found.
wondered about that big shell area.
Yeah,
What offshore? Because that's an offshore.
that's
those are
right.
coming
Yeah,
from
the
offshore.
big ones. Yeah,
And we've got those reefs offshore,
right.
close. But I never understood what was so different from that area that produced those big shells that wash up and make that part of the beach.
I always figured it was just currents.
The converging currents down there. Yeah.
Venice Beach.
Definitely south. You'll find sometimes you go down there just massive areas of them, and it just always struck me that they're harvested so much on the East Coast yet not here. I just didn't know.
We're
comprehend that.
anti-clamites.
Yeah.
What are those real big bivalves?
They're
that we found out a big
Mercenaria
shell?
Campinchiensis. I can't think of the common name right now.
I'll look in my book.
I'm scattered in between
You know all the scientific
Latin
names,
and
but you
no
don't know the
common
street names of
names.
these oysters. Like, come on.
Sometimes I float back and forth.
My graduate work was 1972, so I have forgot a little bit of it since then.
Yeah.
And I started forgetting those names, those genus species names.
Al
right
Gore
away.
invented the internet since then.
Right, yeah.
Anna Swanson joining us, premier oyster rancher,
And,
and so
and wondering why she's here.
yeah, exactly.
These guys are a bunch of squirrels.
Yeah. So getting back to your official title is
Husbandry technician.
husbandry technician. Okay,
Oh,
excellent.
okay,
Or
there
the-
you go.
the
Why
oyster
can't they call it
hatchery.
wifery?
That's actually out
Yes.
Why does it have to be husbandry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So I mean, so with all the science and the work that you've been doing over the past few years, like is the overall feel pretty? Is everybody excited about the future of this? Are you showing good results?
Yeah, the farmers have been really
Quay hogs,
supportive.
Tyler, thank you. Quay hogs.
Quay hog, yeah.
Yes. Okay, sorry.
The farmers have been really supportive, which is really reassuring to hear that
Yeah.
our seed's growing the fastest. Has the least mortality, and it's going to be interesting, especially once we start seeing them on the plates, how that'll compare to other stuff that we have to get from out of state right now, because there's no commercial hatchery in Texas for the farmers.
So what about seasonality? Is it still like a months that end in R, or is there any kind of
I mean, with a farm-raised oyster, you can really throw that out the window. That, I think, came from before we had time of refrigeration.
Right.
So, but it also comes from Vibrio's higher in the
Vibrio and Red Tide and all those fun things.
That
yeah.
happens in the warmer months,
Don't
and
say
so
you're getting Nick fired up.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
how long will it be before restaurants can grow their own supply?
Well, Brad's been doing
that's
it.
what. Yeah, that's what how it started. Is you have a restaurant, some sort of seafood bar, and you have this tiny little acreage, and you grow your own oysters, and you.
How many people are doing that?
That's what how many
It-
licenses are out
oh.
there now, yeah.
None.
So the licenses for
It's-
licensing
I knew
going
there-
through the GLO.
I
right?
thought there was like at
GLO
least two
and
or
Texas
three.
Parks
Okay.
that are also restaurateurs.
Oh, that are also restaurateurs.
No, yeah. The people
yeah.
that are actually farming are.
They're selling
I mean,
them,
there's
yeah.
probably 20
Okay.
permitted farms right now.
Okay, good. So that
Ernie used to get his from Louisiana when he had
yeah. No, that's great that it's becoming competitive.
But
There's
that's
a lot more.
the biggest hardest part of to catch on is to support farm raised Texas oysters. You go to a seafood bar and you see a Virginia oyster or a West Coast oyster or whatever. They'll have those, and the restaurants are paying buku dollars for
Yeah.
that, but they
Sustainable, yeah.
But they won't pay less than that for one that's closer to home. That Texans will appreciate more. That this came from your coast in a
Yeah.
smart way.
So need more marketing, I take it.
Yeah, that's been the
Could you
hardest
set up a
push.
kit where people living on the island who have got a canal could grow their own?
Farm your own.
Maybe at a certain point down the line, but I think Texas doesn't want to jump into it all. Go hard.
No, like a chia pet or something.
Yeah.
Paste
Well, I
on,
don't-
water it.
With the water circulation we have in our canals, I don't think I would want to eat an
Yeah.
oyster.
Well, they've got all
They
these
do
chia
like a
pets,
bearded oyster.
like in the shape of famous
Yes.
people. Like I've got an oyster farm out back that's in the shape of Blue Diamond Phillips.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I mean that's what they do in Virginia. Everyone in Virginia who lives on the water, they have an oyster farm in their backyard.
Right,
And there can be 1,000 oysters out there, but you just go out there and whenever you have Thanksgiving or a party, I'll serve some oysters.
That's a great idea. I just like the idea of selling the kit.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
put it all together with them little things in it and say, there you go,
There you go. Yeah.
on Google.
Within just a year, you can have a 3-inch delicious Texas-grown oyster.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm amazed how quick they grow.
Yeah.
So how many spat can y'all produce? Like, do you find that you're limited? Do you want to expand?
We're just limited by space at our facility.
Right.
So, but in our small, I couldn't tell you, probably as big as this dock or this deck is probably how big we're operating in.
Right.
We can produce tens of millions, 40 million right now.
Wow.
40 million. Throw them out the nursery, and we just haven't gotten to that point yet. This is very new for us. We got our big tanks in a couple months ago.
Okay, wow. Okay, just getting ramped up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
on the
great.
cutting edge of this. Anna, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Anna Swanson, oyster rancher, joining us. Dr. Brian Gully, Jake Gardner,
Arr.
Dale Rankin, Nick Meyer. My name is Jacob Oggs. We are glad you're joining us on KUKA Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3, and on Retro Tejano, 104.1. It's a beautiful Island Moon Thursday. A little bit of a breeze, nothing too crazy. And it's like kind of like what is that, like an east wind right now?
Yeah, we're in the lee of it right here where we're set up.
north
So,
in
yeah.
Naturally, yeah.
Northeast.
Yeah. Well, and all kinds of crazy action. I know we've got some interesting government news that happened between everything. But Nick, Pence has been open.
Oh, it's staying. Apparently, they're leaving it open during the closure. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's cool.
And there are still rangers down there, so don't go thinking it's the Wild West and barrel down at 70 miles an hour.
Right, you will get done.
Yeah.
No,
How's driving
the
been?
fishery is really alive at the minute. I mean, it's doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Got some. There was snook caught yesterday on the Bob Hall Pier, Bob Hall Beach.
Really?
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
And I mean, the tarpon have been really prolific this year compared to what they have been. They seem to be coming back.
We had a guy.
They're still eluding me.
I know.
I've been watching them. Every time I go to the jetties, they're rolling right there.
Have you seen them kids on Bob Hall been catching them?
Oh, the two towhead kids, the blonde kids?
Yeah, they're out there. They've done really. I sponsor them. I give them a rod each. I'm so
Nice.
pleased
Yeah.
to see them doing that rather than playing on computers.
I put them in the paper a couple of months
They're
ago. 'cause,
awesome, yeah. Great couple
They're
of
doing good.
Yeah. So we actually had a guy jump into the Island Moon office yesterday asking about where the best place was to catch pompano. I was like,
Don't tell them.
So, at the beach, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
At the
The
beach.
pompano fisheries. I mean, again, you can find. You've got to look for them, and they're very localized. Like you can be 100 yards from a guy and he hasn't seen one, and you'll have 20 of them.
Right.
You know, it
You
really
know,
is like that.
I was going to ask you, Nick, what kind of what color of floats do you use on your pomp leaders?
Just luminous yellow. They're sort of just a light. It's greenish yellow.
Greenish yellow. Do they float?
Yes.
Okay.
But then I have one rig that doesn't. So we have two rigs together.
Yeah.
One of them's got the float on and one hasn't.
Right.
Right. In my idea that one's just more of an attractor, then it's got the fish bite on it, and the other's laying on the top. He comes in
Right.
and nails it.
So I always found that for some odd reason I'm particular to orange because that looks like the eggs
Right.
of the
Yeah, that's-
the sand fleas,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Right.
correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So and then, yeah, I went by a local tackle shop the other day, and they really want a lot of money for those orange floats.
Oh, yeah.
Evidently, they're popular with some other people.
Well, and our pompano fishery has really just kind of transformed over the past
It's
few years.
really, I think, one of the major fisheries now, definitely on the surf line.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, people start coming in and there'd be big groups of them. And a few years ago, people would pick one or two up and think nothing of it.
Yeah.
And being able to cast long distance definitely pays off.
Yeah.
I mean, but we've got to still search for them and look for the Gorkina on the beach.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I was going to say. So
yeah.
if people are driving on the beach, how do they know when to stop and find pomp?
Right.
Gorkina
Anna, are
shells
you
on the
taking
beach
notes?
normally.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
That's where you tend. That's where I always stop. I'm
Yeah.
always looking on the actual surf line,
Yeah.
and then I'm looking for a point, and you normally find that by looking for a heron.
Okay.
He'll be standing on it and claiming it as his,
Yeah.
and that allows you to get out a bit further and get over that. You want to fish on the drop of the bars,
Okay.
not on top of the bar.
Yeah.
Funny enough, they
Well,
like edging along.
if you can get over that bar.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, we can help with that.
Yeah, right.
Just go to Breakaway Tackle USA.
Yeah,
And,
on the
and look at that,
YouTube,
or
there's
go to
we've got
Nickaway on
videos
YouTube.
on them on how to do it. But it has become a major fishery. The redfish in Packery this year
It's
was
insane.
ridiculous.
Oh,
It
yeah.
still is. No,
Yeah.
there's piles of redfish. I think I went Monday, and just everybody's catching upper
I was doing a
slots.
beach report, and I put my drone out to show how Bob Hall Pier's going. So
Yeah.
I go out the end there, and I saw a few turns working off to the right. So I took the drone over. Massive school of redfish.
Yeah.
Slow, and they move very slow.
Yeah.
You know, like when we bump into that on the beach, in the guts where you can get at them, it looks like a dirty stain on the water.
Yeah.
And you go out there, and it's just these redfish mulling along. And yeah,
Well,
that's
I know,
what's been happening in Packery.
And also Port Aransas, there's almost a resident school of redfish out there on the South
Well,
Jetty.
and around San Luis Pass area, there's a huge school of redfish. People were calling Parks and Wildlife like, "Hey, do you guys know about this?" They're like, "Oh yeah, people reported it last week," and they were tracking that school as it moved up towards East Bay and Galveston.
Did you see that
So cool.
report? I think it was from Louisiana about the pressure the surf or the fishermen are putting on the redfish fishery. They reckon it's really becoming quite a problem.
Oh, it's the Menhaden fishery.
Okay.
That's the problem. Is I'm not going to say their name, but they're out there purse seining and
That's terrible.
Good.
No,
It's
this
not
was
redfish.
definitely redfish. They just
I know.
did a big
That's-
count on
that's
them.
the whole
Okay.
idea, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But if you take away the bait fish, then eventually you lose the
Right.
big fish.
Yeah.
And this, if you remember, the kingfish fishery down here was incredible in the 70s and before, and the 80s. And now to catch a kingfish out here is almost rare. You find them further and further offshore on the rocks and around there. But it used to be you just go out in the middle of nowhere and drift.
They
drift through
did
there
pick
cold.
up quite a few off the jetties this year, and also things like triple tail.
Right.
Really?
And,
Triple-tail off the jetties.
and
Interesting.
and dolphin. You know,
They got
I
a
mean,
mahi off
yeah,
the
they've been-
jetties,
yeah,
yeah.
off the
Well,
jetties.
I know. It almost seems like every year there's a sailfish caught off the end of the Port A jetties.
Yes,
yeah, around the
absolutely.
anchorage. Yeah, I've been out there and actually been into one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year has been really quite strange. Looking at the surf, the clarity has been amazing for the last
Yeah.
couple of months. I keep watching these hurricanes coming across and bending into Florida, and our Sargasso. We didn't really have a big event.
No.
You
You know
know?
where the Sargasso is?
Don't say it too many. If you say
It's-
it 3 times, it's going to show up here at Dock Station
No,
Seafood.
it's down on the Mayan Riviera. We were in Belize a couple of weeks ago.
I
and
heard
it's
it was
just
thick.
just washing
Yeah.
in, washing in. And people were like, "Oh, they were apologizing,
Right.
right, when it was washing in." The
Oh, it's
locals.
it's just
I was like,
we've
"No,
been
we're-
protected.
we're used to it."
You know, I mean,
it
from
may be here yet.
hurricanes,
Yeah.
seaweed, red tide, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You know, everything's been dodging us and going to Florida.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a current change.
It's the loop current.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Last,
the
last
idea.
week I walked down the dock because my son let the ladder blow in the water. And you could see the bottom 8 inches.
Not to call them out.
No shaming or anything on the radio here, but
Told him,
yeah.
don't leave that thing out here, it'll blow the water. But you could see the bottom. And it was
Yeah.
just unbelievably clear. More, it was clearer than I've seen it during the summertime.
Right.
When it usually comes in. And of course, those jellyfish were coming in. Those,
the
whatever you call them,
moons.
those disc-shaped.
Moon
Moon
Yeah.
jellies, yeah, with
And
the 4 circles.
So
yeah.
I look in there and I go, I got to go to a meeting pretty soon. And I had to raise a boat one time around all those things. And I had those marks on me where those jellyfish would wash up against me and leave a slightly red irritation.
Slightly.
And I'm not getting there. But
I'll
what-
tell
to
you
watch
what,
the tortoise.
standing on them, you'll slip
Yeah.
on them easy
Oh, yeah.
in the surf.
But to watch the turtles, there's always turtles around.
Right.
The little small sea turtles. And they're eating them. They'll come up to them and eat them.
Did you see that Jace put that video up of moon jellyfish with all them bait fish underneath it?
Uh-huh.
It was
Yeah, no,
amazing,
that's the
yeah.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see cabbage head out in the bays or whatnot, they've got all kinds of moonfish and pilotfish and all
Right.
kinds of things associated with them.
It's always changing around here. That's what makes it so interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And like October traditionally has been my favorite month to fish on the beach.
Right.
Because all those fish come in.
I'm
the
getting
mackerel,
real
the
excited.
jackfish.
This is it. This
you
is
know,
now.
And
you know.
it's just so much action out there.
The other thing with that pompano fishery is normally like it would run from October through to the end of January, heavy, right?
Yeah.
But this year, midsummer they were pulling in big hauls of them, and normally they move offshore.
Our buddy Marty caught one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, caught several. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brenda caught a 4-pounder.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I thought it was a baby jack. I was in the water trying to film it.
Yeah.
I thought a little jackfish. No, it was a pomp. It tasted awesome.
That's a grander. Yeah. Eat that one fresh.
So for
Yeah.
people who have never eaten pompano, what's your favorite way? Don't you have this awesome smoking?
That's
recipe?
my favourite. And the actual brining recipe come from Tyler's granddad or someone.
Yeah.
But so you brine it for 12 hours, then you dry it for 12 hours, and then what I do, I put local honey on it, just wipe it, and then I smoke it for about 3 or 4 hours, and it's really good.
On the half shell.
I open them up, so they're on their skin.
You smoke it
yeah.
at a temperature or?
Under 200. I just
Under
keep it under 200, And it's really nice. And I try to get, I really do, try to get 100 pound of pomp either in my fridge.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's my
Yes.
goal every year. By the time they switch off, I want a good load in there.
I'm dangerously low.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Dangerously low.
Crazy. All right. Well, this is KUKA Driscoll, Texas. We're going to take a quick radio commercial break. But we will still be around on YouTube. Just go to Island Moon Live, and you can find us and see how the sausage is made. We've got the huge table full of wires and cables, and and all kinds of fun for us over here. But stay tuned with us, and we will be right back very shortly. Let me make
On the
sure we get this
radio.
going.
From the first glass of water in the morning to the clean dishes after dinner
think we're
and
still on.
every refreshing shower in between,
Are we still on the
water is
YouTubes?
part of everything we
YouTube,
do.
we're still going.
That's why
Yeah,
Corpus
good.
Christi Water
So,
works hard
Anna,
to provide safe, high-quality
Do
water
you think,
you can trust.
Anna, we're still on.
The Texas Commission on
YouTubes.
Environmental Quality.
Do you think that you guys would support like conservation reefs? Like if we go build a conservation reef, would you guys provide the spat or?
That's a pilot project we're actually going to start next spring. Is Deadman's Island? They're building a shoreline out there. I think Jenny Pollock's lab is going to work
Stedman's or Deadman's?
with Deadman's.
Okay, Deadman's is right over here.
Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Okay, great.
We're gonna set our oysters onto oyster shells, and then as a trial to see how well they do out in the bay. Because
Right.
sink or shucks, we're gonna see how good is it actually to. Is it better to preset the oyster or just drop it on the reef?
Right.
So we're gonna start doing that this fall, and then really start getting into it next spring.
Awesome.
So
yeah.
hopefully, and then even y'all were talking about scallops and clams. That's another thing we have under our permit as a
Oh,
hatchery.
Really?
We just
Okay.
haven't had the time or the personnel or the space,
yeah.
to start doing it. We have one clam right now that we have kept alive.
Oh yeah. What's its name?
I want to try gooey
Clammy.
duck. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
They're not here, are they?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, they're just massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. Well, that's great. Dr. Jenny Pollock has been a really good partner for a lot of people to get habitat back in. A lot of research on what is the best substrate to put out for them to attach to and naturally. But if we could seed that and get them sped up, that's really great to attach them. Now, does it matter which side of the oyster shell that you attach the spat to? Like, do you put it on the inside? Do you put it on the
Real
outside?
left-handed oysters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it matters. Oysters just find that oyster shell, and it's like a magnet to them. They love
Right.
sticking on that oyster shell.
Absolutely.
Everything that we're going to be setting on is going to be on the half shell. All the stuff that's been pre-shucked, and so
Yeah.
they'll have open season to both sides.
Perfect.
Is this going to be a problem as they get more and more of these oyster farms? Is oyster poaching going to be a thing, you think?
Like taking the oysters out of the farms.
Right, people
Hey, if
come
you
and
can
get
get it
that.
out of those bags, it's yours. That's what. No, not really. But it's a really hard work. Those farmers out there, I mean,
Right.
they are busting all day in the worst weather. You get one northern front, and you know,
and
you
the
can
string
have
disappears,
You
yeah.
can have just disaster on your farm.
And they got to go flip the cages
You know,
every
flip the
so many
cages
days.
because there's so much. I mean, you have a floating reef out there, so everything just wants to stick to it.
Right.
And that gets a problem because these oysters will grow in these little rectangular bags, that will slide into the cage, and so to pull them out, they just get glued in.
Right.
So we have utilized a crowbar many
Yeah.
a time on the farm.
Right.
A crowbar and a rake is really all you need, and a boat is all you need to be an oyster farmer.
But the great thing is about suspended bags is the
Automotive Group
the
since
lack of oyster
1966.
drills. So when you have
Retro
reefs on the
Tejano
bottom, you get
104.1
oyster drills,
and
which
Retro
are bad
Country
in an oyster farm.
105.9 and 103.3.
Yeah, we actually
and
had
available worldwide
last
on our
year
app.
we saw our
Retro
first oyster
Radio
drills
CC.
even in our seeds.
It's the power
So-
Hour
Really?
with Larry
I'm not sure
Elizondo,
if it came-
The Godfather, who makes
Yeah.
street sense meet
Great.
common sense.
Just keep
now,
going. Oh,
live from Doc
we're still
Seafood
live
and
on
Steaks.
YouTube.
It's Island Moon Thursdays.
And we are
Is the
back.
temperature an effect? Like if you have a freeze, does it really kill off all
The
the
freeze will, yeah, on the
Okay.
top of the water. But that also makes them taste so much better
Oh,
than all
really?
the stuff that's been growing in the mud that we have been eating for
Right, yeah.
tens and tens of years.
Right on.
Excellent. This is Island Moon Thursdays. We are live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, making sure the audio is not too crazy. Jake Gardner, Dr. Brian
All
Gardner,
right.
my name is Jacob Oggs, Nick Meyer, and Anna Swanson joining us for just a little bit longer. Oyster farmer, rancher extraordinaire.
That's awesome. Very interesting. I didn't know.
Right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed listening.
This is awesome. Well, I had no idea there was an oyster hatchery in the back of the bluff. That was, I mean, it's right next to the Barney Davis. And you guys are doing a lot of great work. And so what are you excited about for the future? Just kind of keep on going. Do you see the program? growing, or
Yeah,
is it-
totally. I'm excited to see our product being used by Texas farmers and not some out-of-state product that
Yeah.
they've been relying on.
Right.
We're specifically making this product for our Texas waters and for our farmers, so that
that's
they
great
have
stuff.
an easier time. I mean,
if people want to learn more about this, where can they go? Do y'all have a website? Do you have a Facebook? Are you like oyster husbandry marketing on
Yeah, right.
unfortunately, we don't. I would love to get something like that going for the hatchery. There's really good resources. There's a couple of nonprofits that kind of promote oyster mariculture. One is one that I work for, the Texas Surf Conservancy. They're all about
Right.
They're all about promoting oysters and getting the word out there, because education is the biggest pinch point for.
Right. And do we want to talk about the event coming up or not?
We sure do.
Okay.
We sure do. We have the Surf Conservancy is working on a documentary film about the whole industry, start to finish. So the legislative process, why it was started, what was the need, where it's at now, and its future goals also. We're working with a producer in San Antonio. She's going to help us put it all on, and we're really excited about it. We're having a pitch party Thursday,
The 16th.
16th.
Yes, I didn't know if because you kind of busted me. I was because I think I said something on the radio last week, and she was like, "No, we don't want the unwashed masses there."
Well, I wasn't sure either, but I got the all clear.
Okay, right on. Good.
You know, I like to be involved in a little bit of everything, which is probably a little bit of a flaw for me. But so I know a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. But I got to be involved in everything. Got to have my toes in everything.
Yeah,
you gotta
good.
You got to know what's happening.
Wearing a
Right.
lot of hats. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, this
Right.
dock that's right over here, about 300 or 400 yards from here, that is on Packery Channel, that's an old dock. If you're old enough to remember, like I do, they used to unload oyster shells at that dock. And they would bring the boats up. And back when they had the swing bridge, when they had the toll bridge here,
Wow, yeah.
and that's how that area got built, and that's what it was for, is unloading oysters. And then, of course, like Nick was saying, they use these things all the time in my day for road base.
Yeah.
And they make great road base until you fall off your bicycle about
Ow.
40 miles an hour
Ow.
and land on it.
Ow.
But yeah, it was a big thing, but it's a shame to waste it. You know, need to put it back and make it sustainable.
Outstanding. Well, okay, and Nick, while we have you here as well, I do want to spend some time kind of getting to the bottom of what's going on pens. I know,
Okay.
Yeah, people have been talking about government shutdown and XYZ, but there's more going on behind that, right?
Yes, there's a lot going on. Actually, you very rarely see a ranger these days south of the 5.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, they hit
Yeah.
that when it drops from 25 to 15. Has it gone
They
back?
haven't. Them signs are still up. And when
Okay.
we first negotiated that with the big argument that blew up in 2012.
Yeah, that was
They,
fun.
yeah,
That's
they.
where I met Nick.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was screaming, pitchforks and torches were out. Yes. It was a good
And
one.
the deal was they were supposed to change that on Labor Day, back to 25.
Right, yeah.
But the signs are
Well,
still holding 15.
You know what happened is we had a fluke and we had one green turtle nest and they nest later. So
Oh,
it was
so
like
we-
mid-October.
Right.
So it was like, okay, well, we're going to keep it. So we lost another month and a half.
So here's the
with
question:
25
how
miles
many
an hour.
turtles have been run over on that beach and killed in
Very
in our
few.
lifetime?
The last one that I can think of occurred, I believe, on Boca Chica.
Really?
Yeah.
But not on our beach.
No.
So
Yeah.
why are we fixing a problem that's not a problem?
That's I think
yeah.
that's the $10 million question that everybody's trying to figure out.
Right.
Is, well, and the other thing is, if this isn't a problem, then why are people threatening to use that as a method to stop driving on the beach? Right? Like restricting vehicular access on pins.
Because
And
that's
as
their
soon as we say
excuse.
that, now, like I can, people are going to the front of their garage to grab their pitchforks right now, and everybody's
Yeah.
going to come out. But the whole
Absolutely.
thing is, no one wants this to happen.
I have my pitchfork in
I'll
the back
tell
of
you
my
what's
car.
sad.
The feds want it to happen, but nobody else. And this
Right.
is and I was talking to GLO about it to Renee Garcia to talk to Dawn Buckingham and make sure she understands one thing is that everybody in the state wants that beach open. It's our beach. The people that don't want it open are people that are
Aren't
the
here.
are the feds,
Are
and
the
there's not
feds.
very many of them, and most of them aren't from here.
Yeah.
A lot of the pressure come from a group in Florida. You
Right.
know, they
Yeah.
were the ones that were complaining.
And they
about
control the
Donna-
purse strings.
Yeah,
Right.
getting the grants
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
But what I find particularly sad is if you go down 39 miles down that seashore, there's a thing called the Old Turtle Shack,
Mm-hmm.
which is now they've built a brand massive new one
I know.
behind the dune.
Yeah.
But that used to, there would be maybe 20 or 30 volunteers there every year from all over the country
Right.
who were getting an experience and learning everything.
I did that a few years
Yeah.
back. A
And-
few years back.
And now you're lucky if you see 4 or 5.
Right.
Well,
I
the
mean,
park has
it's-
stayed open through the shutdown, right, Nick?
Yes.
I've been going down there
Yeah.
checking, and they're not charging at the gate. The first couple of days there was nobody in the gate shack. Now there's a ranger there, but they just wave you
Well,
through.
Eric also does these things, I think they call close days or something. You go there and there's just no one there. And I was on
There
the
was
beach.
a sign, though, right, Dale?
No,
No,
There wasn't a
no,
sign.
No.
Okay.
I was down there the
There's
other day.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
they
a
parked
beach.
two cars. They parked two. They parked a K9 unit there and 2 ranger vehicles the first day, and there was no one in the guard shack. And then the next day I went back. I guess it would have been Saturday. And again, I go every day. And just to check, and by Saturday and Sunday there was a guy in the guard check just waving people through, and only one car there, but they're not charging. And the funny thing was, you go down to the beach and it's really busy. There's a lot of people
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Because you
Here's
don't
the
have to worry
problem.
about the park rangers
I was
rolling
on
you
the
out.
beach. I was coming off, and there was this woman. She waved me down, so I stopped. And apparently, she had had a rod out, and a vehicle had come below her rod, and she had braid, and the vehicle picked the rod up as it was traveling, got caught up in it,
Yeah.
and the line went across her neck.
Oh, no.
Right? And she was like in full-blown panic. They kept going and kept the rod and reel.
Oh, jeez.
So she asked me if I could report it to a ranger. There wasn't one.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So that's the problem. In the old days,
It's Wild
every day you would see one of the rangers ride all the way to Mansfield and all the way back. And we always had excellent relationships with them. You know, we were all friends. We'd help each other out. I'd help them out on a couple of occasions, and they certainly helped me out. But
Oh, yeah.
these days, it feels like you're going to a party that you're not invited to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
That's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. No,
And it just never ends.
And the back road, right, which
Yeah.
used to be our way off
Right.
to avoid the high banks in high water, that's totally
it's gone.
grown over
Yeah.
and gone.
Well,
You know.
we need to start using it. The road's still there. It's just the cut through at the dunes at the
Right.
18 and a half.
Last
That's
time I
missing.
went back, the grass was like above my vehicle. You know, I mean, where you come out at the 28,
Oh.
That's not been looked after. So there's
Yeah, that road's really
Yeah,
rough.
yeah,
It used to be an
so-
old oil field road.
yeah.
How's
So
the driving down at Little Shell and Big Shell now?
you've got a major problem at 39. There's a cut come right the way into the dune. So on high water, you've got to, if you're south of it, you've got to go through that. So I've been sort of hanging back.
Is it
Okay.
shallow enough to drive through?
Oh, you can drive through it, but it'll wreck your vehicle.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Driving
mean,
through Gulf
yeah.
of Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, it'll totally destroy your vehicle. You see these vehicles who have been watching Jeep adverts
Right.
on TV and they're
Oh, yeah.
flying through the surf. They're buggered.
Yeah, no, I saw somebody with a Tesla truck driving through the
Yeah, I've seen him.
driving through the
Yeah.
surf. Was that you, Brian?
No, I know about that saltwater.
Yeah.
Those people
like
are absolute
I was-
idiots.
I
that
thought
do
about
that. They
you.
don't have any idea what they've just done to their vehicle.
No.
Yeah.
And you're not, I mean, there's, I don't want to talk about it, but this water shortage, you can't wash the damn trucks off. You got to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
into town.
You have to drive through a mud puddle after the
I
rain.
love puddles.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
It's the
Veer to
Flower
the
Bluff
right.
undercarriage wash, right?
That's
It's
right.
just drive it just back.
A
go
good
back and
tip
forth
for
with it.
anyone, if you are going out on the beach on a regular basis, you need to spray the underneath of your truck with boiled linseed oil.
Really?
You can buy it from Lowe's or anywhere.
Yeah.
Totally stops rust. Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't
know that.
100%.
Yeah, I need
Yeah.
to do my. I haven't
Where
done
do you
mine
buy
this year.
that much linseed oil?
That's a
Lowe's,
gallon.
they sell it in a gallon can, but it must be boiled. And then
Yeah,
it-
boiled
it-
linseed oil.
How do you apply it?
Spray it.
So so you go get a sprayer from
Yeah.
Harbor
Harbor
Freight
Freight,
or
yeah.
Walmart and put it on your air
Really?
and just
You just
air
do
spray
it once?
We do it every
Once a
6
year.
months.
Once a
I
year.
do.
Yeah, at least.
Huh.
It totally prevents it.
And you smell like a French fry for a little
You
bit
do,
if you
yeah.
hit your
That's kinda
exhaust with
cool.
it. But
Smell like a French
Yeah,
fry.
but it
You do.
absolutely
Yeah.
eliminates
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's a really good preventer.
and then hitting it with Osfo beforehand is a good idea too.
Yeah, give it a good clean off.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the weekend, currently we've got this north wind, and it does move the bait offshore.
Right.
If you can be fishing that beach, and there can be mullet running in that first cut with a southerly wind. Soon as that swings north, they go out.
Huh.
Now the reason is, I figured it out, Jay. when you've got that north wind, the current will swing from north to south. Most of the fish coming out of Packery and that are heading south.
Right.
So they go slightly deeper to get the lift to
Right.
take them down. When it's coming from the south, it's working against their desire to go south. So they come in shallow where the current's less.
Right.
That's I think it's like switching a switch.
That's great. You're actually reading the book.
I am,
Shore
yes.
Ecology of the Gulf of Mexico. Britton and Morton is a great
That is
Bible.
an awesome book, and there is such a thing as a lugworm.
Yes, absolutely. but Nick could be talking about nearshore currents for a lot of. I'm like, yes, when the nearshore current goes from north to south to north. I mean, there's a lot of changes that occur.
Well, I've noticed the Packery, the jetties have been crowded.
Oh,
There's
amazing.
fish in there.
Redfish Rodeo, the secret redfish hole is not so secret anymore.
Isn't it? The internet has totally changed the game, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely,
there's
yeah.
just
Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
Oh my
everything.
gosh.
Even just down the road from us. I mean, you can kind of as you're going to the island just before the Kent Olberg sculpture with the big marlin right there. No one used to post up there and fish, and then all of a sudden I saw I think 2 YouTube guys that were out there on kayaks, just slayed them one day,
Yeah.
and now every day there's vehicles
yeah.
there. You know, and
Yeah.
the other day I was on the way to Port A.
We should do a YouTube at a fishing hole where there's no fish and send all the knuckleheads.
Well, no, I think Dan Watkins is trying to do that. Boudin, yeah.
I did a post about reading the beach, and within a day, 250,000 people watched it.
Well, the beach bums used to freak with
just
that
ridiculous.
redfish, so they would start the fire and then go fish.
Yeah.
And come back with dinner.
Yeah.
People always say, "Where do you find the watch the birds?"
Yeah.
It's all connected. Do you know what I mean? You see the birds, you're more than likely going to find the fish.
All right, we're going to take a bonus promotional moment. We're going to jump over for some quick radio commercials. If you're hanging out with us on Island Moon Live, just hang tight, and we will get all this running. Let me make sure I've got to turn the mics off on the radio signal for the commercials to play,
Right.
and then make sure I isolate that. If not, we're all going to listen to commercials. And for everybody watching on Island Moon Live, you get to see how the sausage is made. But for all our friends hanging out on KUKA Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3, and on Retro Tejano 104.1, we will be right back in a minute.
That
Out
Island
of
Moon
Corpus
Live
Christi,
is the link.
we maintain a clear pathway
Island
for
Moon
waterway
Live is
commerce
the link.
It is,
so
and
that
we're
our
still on.
customers can
Okay,
deliver
so I
goods
do
and
Island
energy
Moon Live.
products
Yeah.
to the
Anna, do you
communities
need to
who
run off
depend
to
on
work?
them around
Or
the
can you
world.
hang out?
Yeah, I can hang out.
Those oysters aren't
I make the
going
rules
anywhere.
over there. Those oysters, yeah, they're not going anywhere.
Make the rules over
They do. They
there.
move really slow.
Right.
That's funny.
Unless they're in a storm or
I
something.
can really see a market like you would buy sea monkeys. You see, remember them things?
Yeah, oh
like
gosh,
where
yeah.
you're selling these
Brine shrimp.
little oyster bugs, whatever they're called, and to
Spat.
people who want to grow their own. I think there'd be a massive market for it.
Probably.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be really cool. And have a little bag. I like the idea of
Yeah.
a kit.
yeah. On
Get on
Amazon
that
or
before someone else does.
On
thinking about
Amazon.
it.
Yeah, there
don't
you
worry,
go.
I'm on it. Can you do them in yellow and black so I can put my logo on it? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that would be the key.
Yeah, you could get them to attach to all kinds of different things that would be marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is,
There you go.
how do you put them in a
Yeah,
container
see.
without them attaching to a container?
Well, yeah.
How do you tell the oyster you have to attach here to this thing? They love PVC also.
Plastic
do they?
bags, like they sell goldfish.
I
Yeah.
love-
Yeah.
That's right. Well, you have to get them out of the bag, very quickly after shipping, for
I
sure.
don't know if that'd be a great pet. I mean, to watch an oyster grow.
I mean, what about a pet rock? I think I'd rather have a pet
People
oyster.
had ant farms. Why not an oyster farm?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice
You're
to
not gonna
say,
eat the ants.
sorry, I can't do it because I'm watching my oysters. Yeah, you know, I mean, just
Yes,
sitting
I'd love to
there.
go
on baby shower.
Yeah, I do apologize. It's
Can't
a very
leave this oyster
important time.
alone for that.
Yeah, it'll wreck the house.
It's an
Just go
oyster
wild.
nursery.
But
It
you
takes
got the
time.
water quality is the part that would be the difficult part. You have to keep the water quality up.
Well, that's what the oyster does. I think you
Right.
have to. I've seen
guess
people
so.
at PMAR. They have a whole pet oyster tank that just sits there
Yeah.
all day.
And so the dirtier water, the better.
Yeah, you just go get some mud from outside or some. I don't know.
And suspend it in a
Yeah.
blender. You got to make a
Yeah.
little oyster, drink
gotta
or
eat
something.
something.
Yeah.
You gotta eat something.
I love oysters. I become allergic to them because I was eating too many.
Oh,
Yeah, so now if I eat them, they swell my eyes up worse. So
I never liked them because I always knew what they did for a living.
Yeah.
So that just kind of turned me off.
yeah. After you spawn them, you gotta wait a few days before you eat a raw oyster.
I do like cold water oysters.
Don't
And they're
ruin me.
definitely different.
Don't ruin us.
Yeah.
What do they taste like?
If
What's
like
different about
North Sea or Pacific, like if you go there and you buy the oyster, man, they're clean taste. They really are beautiful.
So how
And
do
I
you bring them
think-
from the West Coast, a bag of oysters in the shell, and bring them all the way over here? The weight of that is so much.
No, you've got to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they fly them in.
or Virginia or
All
wherever
right,
they.
coming back. Let's see what we got here.
Since 1966.
So yeah,
Retro
they fly 'em
Tejano
in from Chesapeake and all over
104.1
the
and
place.
Retro Country 105.9 and
Brad was doing that.
103.3 and available worldwide on our app at Retro
Maybe
Radio
in Central Virginia,
CC.
but Texas is the
it's
only
the
state
Power
that
Hour
doesn't
with
have,
Larry Elizondo,
West
the
Coast
Godfather,
oysters.
who makes street
I've really
sense
enjoyed
meet
listening to
common
these oysters.
sense.
I had no
Now,
idea.
Oh,
live
that's
from
great,
Doc's
yeah.
Seafood and Steaks,
Yeah,
it's Island Moon Thursdays.
So I mean, yeah, when back in the day,
That
when
is
Gromp
right.
was-
We are back on Island Moon Thursdays. It is 07:56 on a gorgeous, gorgeous Thursday. My name is Jacob Boggs. Excuse me. We're glad you're joining us. We've got Nick Colosi here, Jay Gardner, Dr.
Arg.
Brian Gully, Anna Swanson.
Swanson.
Yes, I did.
Oyster farmer.
Oyster farmer, rancher extraordinaire, and Nick
Yes.
Meyer, Breakaway USA, joining us. Okay, while we have you here, real quick, Nick is chomping at the bit. He's got to ask for money for people to blow things up,
Right.
but which is just part of what he does. But while we have you here, let's we've been on the topic of oyster farming, and you work at an oyster hatchery in the back of the bluff over by the Barney Davis, and a lot of people, I had no idea that this was even really a thing, but you guys are, I guess, responsible for a lot of the proper production for oysters that are getting to restaurants, right? So you provide how does this work? Do you provide the farmers?
The start, yeah.
Right. We're trying to be that main source of production for the farmers in Texas. Right now it's other hatcheries in other states, but that's our end goal. That's our mission, is to make the best quality product for consumers, for restaurateurs, for farmers, for the survivability, for the environment.
Yeah. So, and a lot of this was born off of the oyster dredging operations that were going on. If any of you back in the day have been driving kind of north of Fulton, you look off to your right in Copano Bay, and there were upwards of 60 or 70 boats just sitting there doing donuts, scraping the bottom.
Yeah.
There was some ugly stuff. There was some ugly stuff, and oysters serve a very particular purpose in our ecosystem, and harvesting them that way just for public consumption was kind of it was really a sad thing. At one point in time, and I did some videos working with Chuck Neiser and the guys over at Flatsworthy about kind of why we should protect these oyster reefs and regrow them, what purpose they serve for our ecology, as well as the fact that it was just kind of unregulated harvest. At one point in time, I think 92% of all the oysters in Texas were getting pulled from right outside of Copano, south of Espiritu Santo and
And San Antonio Bay.
San Antonio Bay,
Yeah.
And that's just baffling. I know how many oysters I can eat. If you get a bunch of us together, we could decimate a reef ourselves.
Right.
So it's worth getting together and putting these efforts in place to for clean sustainability. I know, yes, I hate it. I hate the saying. It's a bit trite and contrived these days, but never more important than it is right now. And you've been dispelling some of the myths and misinformation about oyster growing down here. I didn't think I thought we were too hypersaline. I thought there was like a line.
I think the Laguna, you probably can't find too many in the Laguna, but what we're doing is we're creating an oyster that can withstand that hypersaline,
Okay.
and the real low saline. You probably won't find too many actually in the Laguna. If you do, it's going to be straight salt, which
It's
is what I
going to be
prefer.
one of those cat claw oysters that are kind of smaller.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
They're on pilings around the corner or whatnot.
I've got to go, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, lovely seeing you.
Nick
Very
Meyer.
interesting. Nice
Yes.
meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Appreciate you running by, buddy.
Thanks, Nick.
And
Pompano.
Get you on my podcast.
Okay. Sure.
Nick Colosi joining us with who are you with this time? Is it Island Blast again?
Island Blast time.
Okay.
Yeah. That's our big thing now. This is our first push of the year to get donations for the Island Blast on the 4th of July. This will be the 4th or 5th year that I've done it, and it's a project. We deal with about 15 city agencies, a bunch of state agencies and federal agencies, because we're handling explosives.
Well, yeah. It turns out when you send stuff way into the air and blow it up, you have to call some people beforehand. However, the island, the annual island burning hasn't taken place that recently. It actually did catch fire this past year.
Yeah, it did. In past years, the Nueces County Emergency District would come out a day or two ahead of time and do a controlled burn on Spoil Island, because with the wind, that's where the fireworks will fall.
Yeah.
And this year, when I was talking to them, and they said, well, wait a minute, why do we do a controlled burn when you're going to burn it down anyway?
Yeah. If it's just going to catch fire, as long as there's nothing there, then
Make it part of the show. I think that's always been a real good part. Okay, the finale is not that the explosives and stuff, but it's then, okay, now watch the island burn, and everybody goes, yay.
Yeah, when I was talking to the assistant fire chief, and as always, making sure he says and what we're going to do about it. And the first time he said, are you the person who starts all the fires? And I told him, well, honestly, Chief, the fireworks is only a warm-up act. The people really love the grass fires.
yeah, that's the real showstopper. Oh yeah. That's too funny. So how far? Thank you, Anna. Good to see you. How far along are you in your efforts right now, Nick?
Well, right now we've got $7,000.
Okay.
That we have in our pocket so far.
What's the goal? What's your goal?
By in January, I have to have $13,500 because I have to make a 50% down payment to write the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, eventually, we need $28,000. 2627 goes to the actual fireworks company, and the rest of it is fees, permits, licenses, insurance, and things we have to have.
Yeah.
So 26 for them as of last year, 26.5, and the rest of it, 1,000, maybe 15, is for support services to get in that. And in January, after the 4th of July, it's a handshake where they tell me that we have first choice for the 4th of July. But come January, then we have to sign the contract and give them 50%.
Money's got to be there. Yeah.
Money's got to be there. And that last year was 13,500. Right now we've got 7.
Okay.
So we're, the big push now is to get that money for the down payment, and we start now to try to ask you for help before you have to pay Santa Claus.
Can we start looking for a big sponsor like Citco
Oh,
fireworks
absolutely.
display that, or something, someone like that?
Yeah, over the years, I tried to do it, but if you just make a cold call, you can't get past the first person. You have to have somebody who knows somebody in that corporation.
Right.
Well,
Just by calling up and saying, this is me with Island Blast. Who can I talk to about a big donation? And I hear click. So
Yeah, but you do have repeat corporate sponsors every year.
no.
No? Oh,
No.
okay.
But to having one big one like that would pay for most of it
Yeah.
would be, if you do it each year and be known, have a name, maybe the Hilliard.
Or the Christus Spawn fireworks
Sure.
show. Yeah.
No, our biggest sponsors, surprisingly, are the doctors on the island.
Yes.
As far
Oh,
as the
yeah.
businesses on the island, we get basically no support out of them, the POA or the PIBA people or the restaurants. And when they say, "Well, what's in it for me?" my answer is, "Well, they go to dinner, they come to the fireworks, they
Right.
go back to the bar,
Right.
they spend the night. That we do bring you business."
Right.
But to get a big sponsor, to me, $1,000 is massive. Greg Smith over the years has been able to make some phone calls and bring in $2,000-3,000 sponsors.
I know
But
last
then,
year.
yeah,
Last year we talked. In fact, I put Billy Holmes on the spot for $1,500 on this radio
Yeah, you
show.
did. Yeah.
And he paid. He
You
came
did.
up with the last $1,500.
That's right, he did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was awesome.
thanks to Billy Holmes for that last year.
Yeah, he did. When you got that on the phone, I was sitting here. I went to his marina the next day, and he just kind of laughed and he said, "You're really quick." I said, "I didn't want you to forget."
Well, it's something that just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. Do we have any total of how many people were out watching last year?
Yeah, the police have told me that about 13,000 people
Okay.
watch the show. Between the people in the canals, within about maybe 3/4 of a mile, half mile of the launch site along Whitecap and all the side streets are absolutely jammed. And every balcony, not balcony, but deck on the island, probably 80% of the island can see the place from their backyard.
Yeah.
So he said easily 13,000 people. And I've been saying that if every house on the island donated $5, that would pay for it. But
Well, let's do a door knocking day.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Dale. So
Let's do a door knocking day. We'll go knock on everybody's door and say, donate $5.
yeah. Donate $5.
Yeah. Or we're not leaving.
I want my $2.
So you have to have half the money by January.
By January. Yeah. Usually about the second week in January. Then once we get that money in, then I can start the ritual of talking to all the agencies and get that rolling. But I do that after the holiday. Nobody wants to talk to you before that, and there's no reason to talk to anybody until I'm sure I've got the money.
Well, we'll get with the poker run folks. Maybe we can do a fundraiser there. That should raise maybe about half that.
That'd be good.
We can do that between now and the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
If we get in the pipeline, get going.
We can-
Everybody, but they are sending the notices out with the POA, right?
Yes.
That's the big one.
That really is almost half the money comes in through that. In that if they there's a letter that I just change the date on every year, and when they send out the cam fee bill, they put the flyer in with them.
Right.
And that's half the money because people have got it in their hand.
Yeah.
They put it on the refrigerator. And next
It's
time
been that
they're
way
paying
since
them.
we started the program, except the 1 year we missed.
Yes.
I think it was the year after COVID. I think it was.
Yeah. We missed that year because the city wouldn't give us a permit because of mass gatherings. They said we don't want that many people put together, so we missed it that year because we couldn't get a permit. But
Okay.
other than that, it's been every year.
we're excited about all this getting going, and Man, it just seems to be better and better every year.
Oh, it does.
And it was so it was like Lauren and I were super excited. I thought it'd be maybe too loud for the girls who got the little earmuffs and stuff on them. And Josie, our 2-year-old, just absolutely loved it.
Absolutely,
Big sounds, bright colors, and everything. It was just so, just blew her mind. It was so great watching that, and that's something I hope we can kind of continue on the island.
Well, we brought back the brush fire this last year.
Yeah.
We had a couple of years we missed out on that. We revived that.
Yeah, instead of the usual brush fire, we just burned down
Spoil Island.
Spoil Island.
Yeah,
That's
right,
okay.
yeah.
I mean,
That was
what's the
big
difference between doing a controlled burn 2 days before? Might as well do it on the night of and give people
exactly,
something,
yeah.
Yeah, that's
for
what
the
we-
encore.
That's
Yeah.
what
what
Nick
we
was
did.
saying. He said we might as well just let everybody experience it instead of
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing it 2 days.
Don't
before.
pay the streaker to run around with a flare beforehand. Just wait for the day of the party.
Yeah.
Well, and it saves time and money.
Yeah.
It's
Save
the same
Burn
So-
off the Spoil Island.
Speaking of saving time and money, the contract for the new Bob Hall Pier restaurant is going out for bids, right, Dale?
It is. It went out. They're going out looking for. They're going to go out to bids for somebody to finish building it. They've got, forget the number. I think it's $3.5 million, and they'll go out to. Callan Marine was going to build it. The people that are building the pier, and they decided not to a few
No,
months ago.
they're more of a marine
And so
industrial.
now they've got
Which is
built,
fine.
They built the pier to support the restaurant, and they're going out for someone to come in and put the walls up. And Brent Chesney, I think, is speaking to the Padre Island Business Association lunch today, so we're stealing his thunder a little bit. But they voted yesterday.
He knows where we are, and he's welcome on this show anytime.
Yeah, and they're
he's going to give more details about the nuts and bolts of things.
They went
at the
out
meeting,
through the architect organization, and they'll go out and find someone to build it, and then I think the hints that I've heard coming in are they may have a big brand from out of town, but I don't know how true that is. We'll see.
Margaritaville.
Yeah, we can start that rumor.
Coming soon in 2019. Yes,
We can,
With a Marriott
we'll
on
start
top.
that rumor.
right.
But
Exactly.
but at any rate, they went out. They said that they could start construction on it by the end of the year, and I would expect them to, because they said that the last time I went out there for the tour, they said they want to have it open by next summer. So
right.
they can
Yeah.
get going.
Coming
Well,
soon in 2019. So.
Construction on the pier should be done by.
It'll be done by the end of the
by
year.
the end of this year.
Yeah, once they get going, Callan Marine's been a really good partner. I mean, they fixed
Yeah.
the Packery jetties. They've done a bunch of stuff. They've done the artificial reefing out of MU 775 for us. They put down a bunch of those pyramids.
Yeah.
So like 800 of them,
Nice.
like a
So I,
bunch. So,
so I think you'll
they're
see.
good operators.
I think you'll see the restaurant walls coming up before too long, and then the question is how they do the contract. Do they go out, and is it going to be a revenue share?
Ooh.
And I think that's all up in the air at this point. I don't think it depends on who comes in and makes an offer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
leave that to them.
I
So
can speculate, but I don't want to get in trouble for telling tales out of school.
Well, the other news this week from Brian's ISAC committee is the Commodore's Park Phase 1 is going to the council on I think it's
October
the
21st. Yes, exactly.
So-
So, there's a couple of things that are supposed to go on that we learned at Parks and Recs yesterday as well. So I did ask them about the Riley P. Dog Park becoming an adopted park, and they looked me in the eye and said no change. But there was some other good updates that we had.
Mobility plan.
The mobility
plan's
plan,
coming up.
actually, yeah, the mobility plan is supposed to be on that same city council. I think it actually has to be approved by the TERS number 2 first. So it's got another. I thought we had already had that approved at TERS 2.
I
There's
thought
a-
we did too. We have another TERS number 2.
Tuesday.
But on Tuesday,
Tuesday.
and the mobility plan barely eked on. And so
Okay,
I
good.
want to thank park staff, Sergio, for getting that on the agenda for
So
Tuesday.
What with the mobility plan is? I mean, is it an approval for it?
So once it's
formal
approved
adoption?
by TERS number 2, it had to be blessed by ISAC, TERS number 2, and then it finally gets to council. And then once it gets to council, then they can start teasing out some of the projects to put on the CIP, the Capital Improvement Program, where things actually get done, as Greg would tell you,
Yeah.
coming soon in 2019.
Yeah.
But the great thing is also. There was a presentation by Robert McDonald of the MPO Metropolitan Planning Organization last week, and there's a couple more coming up that they are incorporating the island mobility plan into their plan 2050, which is really good because once you're in the MPO's plan, then you can start getting TxDOT, federal highway funds, stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah.
there'll be a
There's,
couple of
there's
public
money
meetings
sitting
like
there,
that.
so once the city council approves it, does that money become available? The federal money, it's 14.
No. So what the federal money is through the MPO, you have to have a local match. They like TxDOT being a local match, but TxDOT doesn't like doing that. So a city government, county government, something like that's got to be the local sponsor of the project.
Well, won't that happen after the council approves it?
We'll see what this council
what more
does.
what
but-
more do you need?
Right, exactly. And, one of the other great things about Robert's presentation, and he actually told me sort of offline that, that $14 million that is set aside to do multimodal pathways in between Commodores and Whitecap, he said he is digging his claws into that. And so he's holding on to that. That should let next year, but we need to get a local sponsor, which would naturally be the city with the TERS. So the city needs to step up and say, okay, we want to partner with you on this project.
There's no money in the TERS. I published the numbers this time.
Well-
It's on the negative side of the ledger in 2 years from now for 2 years running.
Right, but they de-scoped a lot of money from, and that was another update that we got. They de-scoped some of the money for the paper streets, the north side of Crow's Nest, unfortunately. That'll upset Mr. Gully here.
Here's what happened on that thing. They set aside $7.2 million to build those essentially three streets.
Three
two
streets,
Crow's
yes.
Nest and then
then
Sand
Sand
Dollar, which
Dollar.
actually has utilities under it.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're pretty basic streets in that
Yeah.
they're just straight streets. There's
There's a question on the elevation.
Well, on that one
The intersection
but
with
I think it's
Park
more of a drainage
361, yeah.
because TxDOT's not going to raise that road. So
Right.
what's the next best thing is we need to figure out how to drain that water. But then all of a sudden they come back and I'm thinking, at one time we were going to build a street there on Crow's Nest and it was going to cost about $850,000
Right.
or $900,000 and a little more if we made a collector. But now we set aside $7.2 million to build three streets, and they came back and said it's going to take $7.9 million to build
One.
just one, right? Sand Dollar. So we're dead in the water.
Yeah.
I don't know how you miss it. When you build streets for a living, you're a city that
would
builds
kind of
streets.
know.
Well, when you only
I
have two
think you
companies
estimate
that do it,
better.
the numbers tend to go up. It's funny how that works.
Funny how it works. So now we were also working on this skate park for a long, long time.
Right.
And everybody's behind it. We want to do it in Bellish Park because it's a natural park to do it. So we decided, okay, if we can't build any streets yet, we don't have money. Let's repurpose $700,000 of that money
Because you
Build-
don't need design and permitting, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
a,
and we
it's
can
a
build a
canned
skate
operation.
park. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
going to
turnkey.
go.
Yeah.
So we voted on that last week, and we, as a recommendation to the TERS, to repurpose that paper street money.
700.
And then we're going to meet after the TERS meeting that afternoon
Right.
to
Bond.
decide how we're going to put these on a bond issue.
Bond 2026
Yeah.
is what we're going to
And-
start
and
our recommendations.
It'll help because we'll have the design done. This will help
Yeah,
as bonds go in. The ones that are already shovel ready get more attention. We'll have paid that, and we'll also have $4 or $5 million set aside to start that. With that, it doesn't have to come from the bonds. So it should be a very
the
attractive.
money is not
Right.
in the TERS. There's money committed to the paper streets, but
Right.
the money's not in the bank,
Yeah.
and it's
Right.
not going to be there according to the numbers that were presented to ISAC in September on the TERS. There's not going to be money there until sometime or 2029 or 2030, because the money for the paper streets was committed, but there's no money.
Yeah.
It's committed when it comes in, but it's not there.
So what you're saying is they committed. I like to say they. I don't know who they is. It could be us.
You got a
It
mouse
could
in
be
your
Jay.
pocket.
It could be you and I sitting here. Yeah.
Jay and I are the last two chairmen of that. But the city and everyone got together and committed money that we may or may not have.
Right.
And so as we see these two big developments on the island,
Not coming
we
online
don't
as fast.
see them
as-
moving
yeah.
along as fast as we predicted.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not
therein
meeting our
lies-
projections.
And they're
Therein lies
also
the
going to be
problem.
first in line to recover a lot of that TERS money because they put it in there.
Yeah.
And so when you're transferring money to the skate park, you're transferring a commitment of money at some point in the foggy future that we don't know because the money's not there. So you can say, well, we're going to repurpose the money for the paper streets to build a skate park, but there's no money to build a skate park.
So we went through in the subcommittee and looked at all in the mobility plan and looked at all these items and decide what was the priority, what was most important, what did we have to do
And,
first.
and
Paper
also,
streets
and
came
also
up there pretty-
phase the paper streets.
Phase them in.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And so we've kind of
That way we can
redone
get something
that.
done.
Now
Well,
it's going to be a couple of years or more because if it goes through the bond
Well, the
issue.
skate park originally, when they did a public input
It-
for
it's-
Commodore's Park,
it's still
and
in
skate park
phase
was
3.
it was pretty far down the list.
It's phase 3.
And then
Yeah.
there's a push to move it up, and so rather than move it up in the Commodore's side, it moved to Billish, but it's going to be built with money for paper streets that's not in the bank.
And
so
we
you're
wanted-
so you're moving around empty accounts.
And
Yeah.
and Dale sticks the landing here on Island Moon
Yeah.
Thursday.
well, there's no money. We don't want to give people a false hope that once the TERS approves this, you're going to see a skate park coming up out of the ground. You're not.
Which is one
But-
of the problems
there's
that
no
I have
money.
with the way that people treat the TERS. Is this big, empty? You know, it's
Yeah.
it's like an empty pocket that just everybody thinks, oh no, we'll just have the TERS pay for everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
work
no.
that way.
Right.
No,
There's
no.
not enough money to go
It's not
around.
enough money.
It's a
and there's not
revolving
enough
account.
development. There's not enough development yet.
Well, and speaking of development, construction's about to begin on Commodore's Park.
Yes.
They're
It's going to the council.
It's going to the council October 21st. They've already selected a contractor, and they came in underbid on all the different components that the parks and recs wanted. So hopefully it moves forward.
Two pickleball courts and 2 tennis courts.
Some trails, bird observation deck. So yeah, a lot of
We're going to be
That'll be fun.
we're going to be overrun with pickleball courts before long. There's 4 going in down on the
yeah.
seawall, and first we had none, and now we got a lot of them.
Yes.
We're gonna need a hip surgeon out here.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you what. While we still have you here, Nick, if people want to contribute to the Island Blast and be a part of this awesome and a lot of just amazing island tradition, how would they donate?
They can do it a couple of ways. They can first off write out a check to Island Blast and drop it off or mail it to the POA office. POA doesn't sponsor this, it's just a mail drop.
Right.
So we can do that, make it out to Island Blast, and it's a 501c3, so you can write it off. Or you can go to GoFundMe and make a
And
deposit
look for
that
Island Blast there.
Island Blast there. Go to GoFundMe, go down to Island Blast and go there. And then if anybody has any contact with any kind of a corporation or business, please talk to them. And if they
Yeah.
want to talk or get more information from me, I can meet almost anybody, anytime, any place. But as we said before, if I call them, they don't know who I am.
Yeah.
Somebody like Brian or Greg, they know that name and they talk to them.
Well, I know Tyler kept on trying to get like a proctologist or something to call it the Island Blast. And I think there's a unique marketing opportunity there for somebody. Nick Colosi joining us this morning.
Okay.
Thanks for coming by. And
Thanks, Nick.
And please feel free to reach out to Island Blast on GoFundMe and donate to a worthy cause. And thank you so much, everybody that's donated in the past.
And thank you, Nick, for making it happen every year.
yeah.
It's
We
it's a
you know, the
thankless
first 2
job.
years I did it myself. Now I've got some friends who help me, which makes it a whole lot better.
Well, we kind of dumped it in your lap. The year.
You tricked me to be specific.
Well, because we came on one year in, I think it was April, and realized nobody was raising any money. We had $0 and we're 2 or 3 months out. And so we started from scratch that year, and you raised the money to make it happen, got all the process in place. So now it's just a matter of starting it over each year.
You know, you had that. I had Dale talk to me on some other project. I wanted, and he said, "Well, if you had 10 minutes, I want to talk to you." And I said, "Well, sure." And he said, "You know, no one is doing the Island Blast." I said, "That's right. It's dead in the water."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, we can. Who do we think could do it?" And I said, "Nobody. It's March. You start this 6 months in advance, and this is
Right.
March or April." And I said, "Nobody would possibly do it." And he said, "Well, I asked some people, and you're the only name who came up."
You're it. Tag, you're it.
You're
and,
it.
And you did it.
We pulled it off.
Well, all
And,
right.
and the show's getting better every year.
Exactly. Well, we're going to take a quick radio break. If you're watching on YouTube, just on Island Moon Live, you can stick around and see how the sausage is made. And we'll, you get a brief kind of introduction as to the madness that is Island Moon Thursdays. We're going to fire this up real quick, hear from some sponsors, and we will be right back shortly. So stick with us.
From the first glass of water in the morning
So,
to the clean dishes after
couple
dinner
other,
and every
updates.
refreshing shower in between, water is part of everything we do.
Oh, Dope.
Should be. Yep, we're good. Ads are on the radio, and
Okay.
we are still
Good.
jamming. So thank you to everybody who's sticking with us on YouTube.
This is where you get the really good information
Yes,
here.
exactly.
So a couple of the updates from Parks and Recs the other day. They finally got a grant writer on board. So so we're going to meet with her. We're going to meet with her here in a couple of weeks and get her up to speed. So
Maybe
Yeah.
they can write a grant for the dog park.
yes, actually for a lot of different things.
So it sounds like the idea of adopt a park for the dog park is a non-starter. They,
When we talk to them, Parks and Rec just flat out says
right.
they don't want to take charge, but they don't want us there either. So,
they would like for us to go away, I think.
yes, they would.
Well, they're starting to expand their definition of what a park is, and because we want to adopt a median out on Whitecap and Commodores, right? Have a private sponsor, Whitecap NPI, come in, and so they're like, well, it's a median. I'm like, well, you guys are maintaining it with Parks and Rec's funding, right? Well, why don't you just kind of bend your definition a little bit, and then suddenly people will take that.
You
off
know,
their
it just
hands.
seems like nothing ever gets done at the parks with that group. It's talk, the same stuff year after year, and nothing ever
When I
happens.
talk to Parks and Rec, and I say this is probably the most popular dog park in the city, and that any evening when we go close, there'll be 6 or 7 dogs there. In the mornings, there'll be 4 or 5 dogs.
Yeah.
On a Saturday or Sunday morning, when we open up, there'll be 15, 18 dogs. It's incredibly popular.
Yeah.
But we're on our own. Sea Island.
Yeah.
But Camp NPA has their own dog park, right?
Yes.
Yep, sure do. Associated with the
So the parks can adopt a median, but they can't adopt a dog park.
Well, they're
Bureaucratic.
they're still working on adopting a median, and
Yeah.
which I mean, the Whitecap median alone was like 1.5 miles.
Why does it take so long to get anything done at Parks and Rec? What's the?
It's got to go through the proper channels. So they're one department that's got to answer to.
I mean, off the
an
top of my head, I
ACM
can't think
and-
of anything that's gone through there in the last 5 years, and on the island, and come out satisfactory. I mean, you can say that Village Park with the water, but that went to the council.
Yeah, that was POA.
I mean,
yeah.
there's nothing out here that I can look at that Parks and Rec has done in the last 5 years that went through the process that helped us. Commodore's Park,
It's just maintenance.
yeah.
You know, what may be the problem is when they realize that about 70% of this island is parks. I mean, if you look at the beach,
50
you look at the state, Texas, the state park.
Yeah.
Country
And then you got the
105.9
National
and
Seashore.
103.3. And available
But we have
worldwide
49
on
acres of city
Retro
parks,
Radio CC.
and I think
It's the
Commodore's
Power
is the
Hour
largest,
with
if I
Larry
remember
Elizondo,
right.
And then look at the county
Godfather,
parks,
who
look at the
makes
state
street
parks.
sense meet common sense.
and then you go south,
Now,
you got a
live
huge
from
national
Doc's
park.
Seafood
Yeah.
and Steaks. It's Island Moon Thursdays.
That's right. It is Island Moon Thursday. All right. Special thank you to our friend Ed Aconis for getting that
Yeah, right.
that
And
awesome
so-
intro and queuing us up and making everything work. We really appreciate it, Ed. 40 years in the business. The guys say a primitive radio god, if there ever was one, and a good friend to all us out here on the island. Jay Gardner, Debbie Noble joining us, Dr. Brian Gully, Nick Colosi was here, Greg Smith, Dale Rankin. My name is Jacob Oggs. It is
Anna
8:25.
Swanson, yeah.
Yes, Anna
Exactly.
Swanson. So interesting listening to her. That was really awesome.
That was great.
She's the first oyster rancher I've ever met.
So
Which
I-
is,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I
So,
should have paid attention to that.
Speaking of that, one more update. Sherrill Park. I know Dotson Lewis has been really interested in getting that helicopter there. The helicopter's there. It's on the pad. I think we were supposed to do the ribbon cutting around April, and then it's kept sliding. So the contractor, the latest is it's going to be mid-November.
All
The
right, that's soon.
contractor that built the sidewalk up to it, it's too steep, and it's not ADA compliant.
Oh, no.
So it's got to be pulled out, regraded, and
no.
re-poured. So the sidewalk. So Dotson, if you're listening, hang on, buddy.
Grab a shovel and get after it, Dotson. 'Cause that's the only way it's going to happen.
So thankfully, the contractor is eating that and getting on it. So
Okay, that was my question. If we have
however
to pay
long,
for that, or-
however long it takes to pour a sidewalk. I don't know how long.
Because
it
I
is,
go
so-
downtown all the time, and I can see the big sign around, and you can see the helicopters there. It looks like it's
Well,
all ready
I
to go.
noticed the
I wondered
helicopter.
what was holding it up.
I went to the mariachi festival last
Yeah,
week,
and you had to
I
walk
could
right by
see
there. You could see it.
The helicopter. That was quite the presentation. I was impressed.
Right.
The mariachis.
Mariachis everywhere.
So
Oh no, it's amazing because you go to that and the first groups that go are really, they're good, and then the last group gets up there and they just blow you away.
Yeah.
They're so amazing.
Man, it's got to be hot in those polyester suits. I felt for them.
yeah. At least there's a little breeze outside.
Yeah.
and it's down near the
Well,
water.
it was IBC did it. It was a great event. I've been a couple of times.
Yep.
And a good crowd. It was a lot of fun. I got a bowler tie and out of the deal. It's always a good night when you get a bowler tie.
Absolutely. No, they had the Pride Parade and block party was at Water's Edge
saw it
Park there.
across the
So I
street.
did that for a long time, and then I ran over and caught the last
Well,
mariachi group.
there was some of the mariachis had some pride. I could tell they were just by looking. I could tell.
They're proud to be mariachis. No,
Yeah.
they do a great job.
Yeah.
And the Pride Festival was really fun too and well attended.
And
A
we
lot of
had
fun things going on downtown.
This weekend, the moon. We also had a couple that sent us a traveling moon from Rhode Island, but they won the trip on The Price is Right.
Yes.
Seriously?
So we got we got a picture of the lady on The Price is Right with Drew Carey.
Yeah.
that's
The
great.
new improved Drew Carey, who's much thinner than the old Drew Carey.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched that in a long time.
He's been focusing on that. Dale, your article this week is hilarious. You went through like a 10 commandments or 10 suggestions.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not trying to call them commandments. You're just
Right.
treating this
10
obviously
island
like-
suggestions.
Yes.
On the
10
island, we don't have commandments. We have suggestions.
Don't
It's
wear a
just
tie.
guideline. Yeah, don't wear a tie. Is that number
Thou
one?
shalt not covet thy neighbor's boat.
Yeah.
Or their neighbor's boat slip.
Yeah. Well, and bearing false witness against your neighbor. I sent that out to all the keyboard warriors who like to insult
Oh, yeah.
people behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
Think about that before you hit sin.
Oh, that never happens on
No.
Pins or Facebook or
Yeah.
Nextdoor.
Nextdoor.
yeah.
I went on Nextdoor once when it first started out here for like a half an hour, and I was like, "Oh my God, never again!" And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got rid of it. Half an hour was enough.
Yeah.
That will rot your brain.
Absolutely,
Sorry.
we think Facebook is bad, man. That is like,
Well,
it's
that's
like
why
another echelon. Another
I don't
level.
allow open posts on the Moon Facebook because I don't want to have to monitor it 24 hours a
No,
day.
and you do, yeah.
And you just it never ends.
There's, there's nicer hard heads out at the end of this pier than
Yeah.
there are on online.
So yeah, we did
And
the
smart.
we did the 10 Commandments and for the island, and I'm open to suggestions. It's just
Yes,
it's
it's
a
a-
place.
but
I'll post it on Facebook, and I'm
So
sure
you'd expand
I'll
to
get
12 or
some-
15?
Yeah,
but it's a fun concept.
yeah.
You know, the whole thing. Of course, we're right here in this period just between before the Winter Texans show up, and the weather turns. We've got our island to ourselves. The tourist
Yeah.
numbers are down right now. You
I've-
can get around on the island.
Yeah.
On
You can get a
Sunday
table. You don't have to
afternoon.
wait in
This
line
is
at a
the time to
restaurant.
be here.
Exactly. Yeah.
My
Which we
friends
should all
are-
be going to the restaurants and helping them out because they need us.
My friends are in town from Dripping Springs this weekend. They come this time every year. And some of the Winter Texans are here.
Yeah.
They started arriving a couple of weeks. Are you seeing
Really?
it at the park?
Well, I'm seeing them. Yeah, we got the early birds are here, and like you say, it's absolutely the best time.
Yeah.
Beach is
This
great.
breeze this morning is beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of birds, Jay, have you looked on Birdcast? Where are we on the migration?
Birdcast is off the
Oh, yeah.
charts. Over 500 million birds a night are in the air and headed our way and through Florida. So,
Nice.
I've
yes.
seen so many different warblers and schmorblers.
Yes,
I can't
warbler,
even
schmorblers.
count.
The Warbler,
I don't know-
schmorbler
I don't
birding
know the
club.
names, but a lot of them are really gorgeous little
So
birds.
I
Yeah.
still have a ton of hummingbirds, aerial dog
Nice.
fights in my yard every morning and evening. So keep those feeders up.
What's
The
what's
orioles
the-
are moving through.
What's for someone who's setting up a hummingbird feeder for the first time,
Yeah.
and they don't
Bill,
they
your
don't
cat.
want they don't want them to use red dye number 40. What
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
what's the best homemade hummingbird food?
It's 4-to-1. So a cup of sugar and 4 cups of water and boil
That's
it,
it.
and you
Make a
can
syrup.
Yep, and
You can make a nice cocktail with that simple syrup later, too.
yes.
Boil it or just heat it?
So it actually helps to boil it. You can just put it in there
Is
and
it
shake
Corpus
it up,
Christi water or what?
but it'll separate. Yes,
You want a
bottled
solution,
water,
not a
bottled,
mixture.
bottled
Not a
water
poison
or
of
RO's
birds.
water. But you can,
too soon.
but you
Dr.
can make
Kelly.
a big batch of it, and I just make a big pitcher of it and keep it in the fridge and
Yeah.
fill them up as I go. I just put a little bit in the bottom, that way it doesn't go bad. And Yeah, no.
Pour some in a glass and mix in some vodka.
I was just going to say, yeah.
So some of the best bird feeders are called the Best Ones, and you can get those at HEB and Walmart. So they
What
call
also
them
works
Best Ones.
is Esperanza. If
Yeah.
you plant
Esperanza is
which grow like
absolutely.
crazy out
Yeah.
here, and they're really blooming right now.
Natives,
And you
yeah.
can sit a chair out in front, watch the dog fights, and I don't know
Yeah.
why these
Yeah.
birds have
They're-
a small man complex and they want to fight. All
Yeah.
No, they're apparently very mean, right?
And they will stick their faces all the way in. They're halfway in the Esperanza to get way down to that base. And
You would be upset too if you had a sword attached to your face.
Yes.
That's
You have to
Yeah.
fly across the Gulf to get a snack.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
you have to
crazy.
beat your wings 80 times a second.
like-
That'd
yeah.
be-
No, that's a lot. It is a lot.
So yeah, no, birds are doing good. Get outside, take your binos, keep your feeders up.
Well, my osprey is back on the sailboat mast down the way. So that's my connection to migrating birds.
Right.
Yeah.
And did the ospreys really like the new lights that they put up and down SPID? There's an osprey every third one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And, I saw a mullet on the Oso Bridge light the other day. It was down on the deck squirming. I was
somebody
like, where did
dropped where
that?
did it come
Yeah,
from?
and I
Yeah.
look up and there was an osprey looking down. It's like, oh goodness, you
He's
dropped
like,
drop
"Damn, I
your
dropped my
breakfast.
lunch."
I have a real problem with these osprey because they'll fly on my deck on the corner with their fish that they caught.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they eat part of the fish.
And then they
And
leave
then-
it,
and
yeah.
there's a
They eat the good
75%
stuff.
chance they'll drop it on the side that goes in the water, but they always drop it on the deck. It's like they want to store it there until it stinks, and then the dog finds it and decides, this looks
yeah.
good. Let's roll in this for a while.
So Brian,
drag it
you live
inside
in a
through
good
the door.
neighborhood for birds. Like you have
Oh,
that
yeah.
little Audubon area
Yeah.
over there. Are they all going to be there now?
Yeah, they're everywhere. Like you said, they're
Yeah, yeah.
multicolored birds.
No, I
and-
mean,
Yeah.
you can tell the birds are there when the birders are there.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
got
that's why I'm
cars
asking.
up and down the.
I always drive
the
up and
deal.
down and just admire their binoculars and stuff.
Yeah, I know. They've got nice glass. Yeah.
Because I know in the spring the people in your neighborhood put like fruit up on their trees and it attracts even more. They put like half orange halves
Oranges.
and grapefruit halves. And
To
stuff.
get those Orioles, yeah.
Get the
Swarovski
Orioles.
makes a binocular now. It's about $5,700, and their glass is
Yeah,
probably the
Swarovski
best.
glasses.
Yes.
And it will
Yeah.
identify the birds for you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Pop it up.
Are you serious?
That's
Yeah.
a lazy man bird watching.
They actually do have bird feeders that
I'd
you
say
can
almost
sign up for a
$6,000.
service. Will do that.
Have you seen the ones that are like have a camera in them and you can send it to you send
I'm
it to
thinking
your
those would make-
parents' house and the birds come in and look in and you just look at them.
We bought my parents one of those.
And how do they like it?
They love it.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
up there a month or so ago, and yes, they'll get an alert on their phone like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a cardinal on your feeder.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
or a
crazy.
snake or a squirrel or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, well, no, they've
I
got
wish
it up,
my
yeah.
mother would have loved that, but she has
Squirrels.
macular degeneration now. She wouldn't be able to see it, but she loves birds and loves bird feeders her whole life, and her mother did too.
It's just that's so weird though. Like you used to like look out the window to spot your bird feeder. Now everybody's on their
Phone.
On their
tablet.
phone.
Yeah, on my
Yeah,
phone.
yeah. It's true.
Jeez
Yeah.
Louise, it's crazy.
Actually, that'll be next. The bird watchers will be standing out there at the bird sanctuary looking at
Looking
their
at their
phones.
phone.
At their
That sounds like an episode of Wall-E. that
Well, someone's going to
children's movie.
sponsor the Boots Cam, and we'll have a camera on the alligator that's actually out
Well,
there now.
that same area
That's
over
what we
there,
need, yeah.
we had the Turtle Trot last week as a fundraiser for the
Sea Life Center.
Sea Life Center, and they're expanding back in that direction. They're adding some tanks.
Nice.
They're starting to get going over there, and they're also. You're talking earlier about the living shoreline. I think that moved forward.
Right.
They got some funding for
They're going to
that.
start it any day now, and they're going to add 1,300 foot to that boardwalk, and there's going to be a lake out there, a bird pond or whatnot. My
Nice.
sister had a tip that she puts grape jelly in her bird.
Yes, you can put it in a little curette.
Really?
Yeah, or a shot glass or something.
And
Small
then the
shot
other,
glass.
and the other thing I found out that we've had a big run of bees in our neighborhood, and
Yeah.
there's a couple, an older couple, and I think the wife is handicapped, and they had left just to eat dinner and came back to their and to get in their front door. When they opened their front door, they were attacked by Africanized
They're
bees.
swans.
Oh, no.
They ended up in the
Oh, no.
hospital.
So-
In fact, one of them's not recovering very well.
Yeah.
Here on the island?
So
Here on
Oh,
my
no.
street on Playa del Rey.
So
Oh, dang.
some of the Parks and Recs guys were out mowing the other day,
Oh, no.
actually, weed eating around a tree, and one of them got hit like 110 times.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
So they
no.
both wound up in the hospital, but they recovered nicely, and they want to go back to work on Friday. So, yeah,
Oh, that's awful.
Is that seasonal? Bees
they're
do it?
moving in the fall. Yeah, exactly.
And they didn't do anything to provoke these bees, just went to their front door
Yeah.
to get going in the house. And of course, as they got in the house, all the bees follow him in the house.
Oh, no.
Oh,
And the fight
geez.
was on.
Yeah.
And,
Try the back door.
And one of them, the husband, I think, is not doing well.
Oh.
Wow.
Still.
Yeah,
So
you
she-
get a
she-
bunch of stings. It'll cause anaphylactic
And
shock.
we have them in my house. I've had to remove them from my attic before, and I find them in there.
Right.
You know, because a dog, my daughter's dog will come in, and all of a sudden you hear it yelp and run around. Because
Right.
They'll bite
Oh,
them, and
no.
then they'll sting them on the tongue, and
I've
it
had-
never learns. It
Do
never
you
learns.
do you call someone? Do you call someone to come and take him away?
We did. We had to go up there in the attic and get it. It was quite a hive, and they're back now. And I've got.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And they just keep coming back to the same.
They do
spot.
make honey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but then you'll find if it's somewhere outside, those big roaches that come from the palms and stuff,
Yeah.
you'll find the honey.
Oh.
And,
Oh no! Then you got
you
more
got
fun
big-
guests
big
that you
palm
didn't want.
dogs.
Yet another reason to find an apiarist
we got a
you can
rainbow.
trust. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting spritzed
Oh,
on
that's
here
awesome.
at the board.
I was like, what is
Rainbow
that?
over
Yeah,
docks.
I know, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
That's
This
great.
That's
this
beautiful.
rainbow is taking you right over to Discount Motor Co.
Yeah.
That's about where it's landing over there. There might be a pot of gold in Frank's lot over
Yeah.
there.
Follow the rainbow,
Special
folks.
guest, if you've been looking for a sign to get rid of that old car or truck, go see Frank over at Discount Motor Co. Right there at, I believe it's 6601 SPID, right next to Century 16 Theater. He's got all different kinds of cars, trucks, fleet vehicles. He can find you something that you're really looking for, and it's better than going to someone who doesn't know what they're doing. He's got all the experience in the automotive industry. He will give you the best advice, help you get the best deal, and he'll take that old car, truck off of your hands and get you in something straight away. So go see our friend Frank the Bank at Discount Motor Co. And thanks again for being a great friend of the show, Frank, and helping us out with all these other island endeavors. And he's one of the other, speaking of nonprofits and all these other fun things, he's an auctioneer, quite the
Yeah.
auctioneer.
He does the La Posada.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Which they're going to get started with everything pretty soon. So
Yeah, they are.
We'll have Hilda on here before long. They've already started getting going. It's going to be here before you know it.
yeah,
It
well,
is.
and just downstairs from us here at Dock Steaks and Seafood, November 6th, I believe, is going to be the Cigars on the Bay, which is another
Yeah.
fundraiser starting in that.
Oh yeah, we got.
And
We're getting into that season, and
Oh,
we've
it's
got
fall festival season for
Ronnie's
sure.
going to be here shortly, and I want to talk about the concert series that the Port Aransas Chamber is doing at the Sip Yard. It's a really revolutionary, I'll call it, a new way of looking at things. They're bringing in bands there through the month of October, trying to give people a reason to come in during the shoulder season. And they're filling the place up, and they're
Nice.
good. Shiny Ribs is going to be there on the 31st
Oh,
on
he's fun.
Halloween.
That's going to
Super
be a
fun.
good show.
And there's 2 weeks before that. There's bands going. I'll be up there 3 weeks in a row, 3 weekends in a row, and it's because the chamber is they've taken that on, and it's something
Nice.
that on our end of the island it would be nice. We're looking at the hot tax numbers. We generate about. And now it's going to be about $8 million a year, but we don't get any of that for concert series. We Port Aransas is showing us how to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can learn something.
They've always been very active over there on
That Roberts
that
Point
chamber
Park,
there.
they do lots of fun things too.
Well, the Sip Yard is the perfect thing because you can get 1,000 people in there on the
It's like
bottom floor.
three-
And
it's
they've
like
got a
3
nice
floors,
stage.
right?
Yeah, but they got restaurants in there, and you've got a nice stage. And with the back porch not here anymore, that's the new place to go. They're in the belt sander races.
Oh yeah.
Well, and once the back porch left, and with Third Coast Studios,
Yeah.
and everything on there, you're seeing a big change in the wind in Port Aransas.
You are.
And it's an interesting thing being from this side of the island, not being a resident. Obviously, the Port A residents have seen a big change since Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's kind of interesting watching that kind of rebuild and redevelop.
Yeah.
And it's still got that character, but the Port Aransas of the '80s is not there
Well,
anymore.
we've talked about this on this show before. The Sip Yard presents us with a stage on the island that we've never had before.
Yeah,
We've
very
never
true.
had a venue of that size with a stage that could accommodate bands like that. We've just never had a place like that. The Third Coast Studio only seated about a little over 100 people.
Yeah.
And they would do those shows every year with the same bands, and they would fill the place up. But the public couldn't really get in because the shows sold out as soon as they went.
Yeah, SRO.
And so
yeah.
you do look at something like the Sip Yard. What we need, I think, on our end of the island is We need an outdoor amphitheater. Seat maybe
Maybe
capacity
we can get
of
TERS to build that.
1,000. Yeah, as soon as they get the money sometime in 2037.
No,
Well, we used to promote. We had a promoter like Frenchie that had the first topless wedding here on this side.
Yeah.
First topless wedding.
Well, that draw a crowd.
Yeah.
My mother, when I was a kid, my mother would tell me not to look over there when we would drive by. She would point. That's where they had the world's first topless wedding. Don't look over there.
Don't look
Of
over-
course,
like,
you got
it's
to
not
look
still
over there.
there.
You're
Oh,
a kid,
good,
right?
yeah.
Maybe it's still going on.
Yeah, but the second world's second on that.
Which turned out to be an accident, as it turned out. The lady's blouse fell off, and she.
Oh, it was a wardrobe malfunction.
It was a wardrobe malfunction. It wasn't a planned
wasn't a
event.
planned
but
event. Gotcha.
hey,
It's Frenchie.
if you're a promoter, right?
It makes for a good story.
Just a reminder, Frenchie ran this restaurant for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And he's still on the lease.
Well, but it burned down a couple of times too.
Yeah.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah, it just totally accident
Yeah.
and everything.
Oh, that kind of accident.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of stuff, that beachcombing stuff that I had collected over the years. It was in it when it burned.
He should have told you
man.
first.
Yeah, right.
Schedule burn. Fireworks are going.
Control burn.
Come
The safe happened to be empty that day.
Come get your art off the wall and yeah.
Well, a lot of that stuff that Frenchie picked up, we ended up in a restaurant, Frenchie's down on North Beach. Was the last iteration of Frenchie's. That was probably 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it closed down, and I don't know what happened to all that stuff. It was all in there.
I know I still have his Lucerne gold watch because I loaned him some money before he died.
He gave you the watch.
What could possibly go wrong there?
Yeah.
Hey, is everybody going to the PIBA lunch after this with Brent Chesney? That's today.
I'll be throwing newspapers.
Yeah, we've been talking about.
I have an excused absence.
All the stuff that Brent's going to talk about. We're trying to preempt his.
right.
Preemptive.
Well, they went through the thing yesterday at the
Where they got rid of it,
commissioner's
Justice of the
court.
Peace.
They were talking about, they were doing wire transfers. And $2 or $3 million went somewhere it wasn't
that one.
supposed to go.
Oh, yeah, that
and
was
so
the
they didn't
scam.
want to do any more wire transfers. And
Yeah.
so the staff person got up yesterday and said, well, hard checks are 65% more likely to be hijacked than wire transfers. And the vote went 4-1 to go back to wire transfers.
As long as you don't click on anything and change
after
vendors, payrolls.
They
and-
hacked their system there.
Yeah.
Then I saw Brent came out and said he doesn't like the wires because they get hacked also.
Right. And he was the one vote to stick with the hard check, hard paper.
Yeah.
But they went back to. It seems to me like
Well, if you're clicking on things you shouldn't be clicking on in this day and age.
That's how they get in.
Yeah.
That
I had
happened
that
to me.
problem with an office in El Paso.
I clicked on a message in my inbox and I got ransomware. I had to pay
Yeah, you
some
did.
kid in India he wanted $800 and my computer guy talked him down to $5. So I left the other $3. I had to pay him with cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Bitcoin.
So I left the other $300 in the account and forgot about it. And 6 months later, I had $1,100 in there. So I may be the only guy in the world who
Made
ever
money
made
on it.
money
Made
by
money
getting
on it.
hijacked.
Crypto pirate.
That's the term for de-scammed, right?
There's a parable in there somewhere. I don't know.
It's one of the island 10 commandments. Yeah.
So I just left the money in
shout
there.
not
I
crypto
figure,
scam.
what
it
the
happened
heck?
to
Maybe
me,
that's my retirement plan.
It happened to me at one of my offices, and it was a $15,000 ordeal. But I said, what do we do? We got to pay Bitcoin. At that time, it was illegal to use Bitcoin.
That's what I ran into.
So I called the FBI, right?
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't want anything to do. They told me 50,000
He
was
says
the minimum.
it's illegal to use Bitcoin. I said, well, they want Bitcoin, so what should I do? And,
Right.
and the FBI says, go get you some Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so there's only two people
Thanks,
at that
buddy.
time had Bitcoin, and that was Wells Fargo and Bank of America. So
And how could
normally
they
when
have
you-
it if it was illegal?
I know. I don't know how this works. Things are
Well, it's
legal
never
for some
been- it's
people.
never
and
been
illegal for
others.
others.
Yeah.
So I come in there and I say, okay,
It's
I'm
illegal
thinking it's
to
going to be
buy
about
it.
2% for the
Yeah.
exchange cash money for this. No, it's like 15%.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm talking. I said, "What is this deal?" They said, "You're taking 15% of my money for changing it." Well, that's just the way we do it. And I said, "Wait a minute. Are y'all in this with the Bitcoin
With the
people?
Bitcoin
Because
people, yeah,
you
yeah.
seem to be
'Cause
making
you're
a
the only-
fortune every
Yeah.
time this company. You rake 15%.
Right.
Yeah.
What a deal!
Well, I talked to the FBI office in Houston, and they told me $50,000 is kind of their threshold, and my operation isn't that big.
Yeah.
And so
Your 500 didn't really.
no, and so then I went to the computer guys, and they said they told me what I needed to do, but then they said, I can't tell you to do that because my lawyer says it's illegal for you to do what I'm about to tell you to do.
Yeah.
And
So you
so
didn't
I
hear it
ended
from
up on
me.
my own. I just,
Yeah.
I put it in the account and
One of the biggest problems that I have with a bunch of this is the fact that everybody says, "Oh yeah, well, you can't do this. It's shady and it's illegal." It's like, well, do you understand how a decentralized ledger works? It's like playing golf, but everybody keeps score. So when a guy says, "Oh no, I
Yeah.
got a birdie on that," it's like, "No, you got a bogey," and 18 other people saw you get a bogey. So
Yeah.
we all have this. So like you get penalized because you're the one cheating on this. So I mean, it's a certified ledger to where everybody understands
Yeah.
what's going on. But at the same time, it's painted as this crazy, like mad conspiracy.
you
About
just,
it.
all,
It's like, yeah,
all I
it's
can say is don't click on
Don't click on
attachments
anything, literally
unless
anything.
you know who it came from.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how they got
and even
into-
then, don't click on it. I tell my parents, never click on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how
Ever,
I avoid
ever,
a lot
ever.
of my relatives I don't like.
Yes,
I
yeah,
thought it was a
literally,
spam
don't click on
thing. I don't know,
anything.
sorry.
You want to write me
I'll see you at
words, write me
Thanksgiving.
words.
Yeah.
Don't attach anything. Don't give me a link. I'm not going to click on it, even if I know you. Dale, you send me something, I'm definitely not clicking on it.
Yeah, because I probably got it from
Because
somebody.
you probably got it from somebody else. Nobody trusts you.
The digital
Is
chain
anybody-
letters, yeah.
Is anybody going to the Stars and Stripes and support thing tonight at Mansion Royale? Christy, that the
Just
Yeah,
you.
she was on
Stotson's
last
Jackson,
week.
Probably
yes.
just you. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Christy.
that's tonight. Christy Jackson and the
Dotson.
round table and Dotson. those
Right,
guys,
yeah. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it should be the Veterans Band is playing. We love Ram and those guys.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Groove is playing, and they got a silent auction, a live auction. That's
Starts
tonight.
at 6, right?
Where's that at?
5:30.
Mansion
Royale.
Royale, just south of Enos Joslin.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That
Okay,
should
that
be a
place,
good time.
yeah.
I'm gonna try to go there, and I love Ram and the Veterans Band, so gotta go do that
If
for
you drive
sure.
slowly down SPID, you might be able to catch a little clip of them.
So if you walked outside or got to the beach, you got to see these super high tides brought to you by
Yeah.
our super harvest moon.
That's
Harvest
right,
Moon
exactly.
Regatta
Yeah.
is
Yes.
this weekend, I believe, in Port A.
There's no parking lot out here today.
Every year for the
No.
Harvest Moon, a group of sailors leave out of Kemah and sail overnight under the Harvest Moon and come into Port Aransas.
Yeah.
And they are a party-oriented bunch.
yeah.
Yes.
After a
They
night
party
on,
all the way down.
they used to come into the back porch. I guess it'll be the Sip Yard this year.
Yeah.
Well, because they're the real sailors. It's like
Yeah.
when they used to have that race that would go from here to Veracruz. Now,
Yeah.
now you're doing some real sailing, not
Yeah.
just going around circles in the bay.
Right.
And I can remember one time I got a call from somebody. I was in college. I was at A&M out here, A&I Corpus Christi. And I get a call that, hey, we need you to go down with your boat. You're launching the surf. We got a sailboat that's anchored right outside the surf. And they got to get back on that boat. They left a lot of money and a bunch of stuff on it. And they got caught in a storm. And I went down there, trailered my boat all the way down 40 miles down, and then launched it and went out there. And I didn't know who these guys are. I don't know if they're stealing the boat. Back in the old days, there wasn't anybody down there.
Yeah.
So I got a big old gun in my with me. And
Undoubtedly, yes.
And so it turned out good because I finally I've got them with me in the truck, and I launched the boat. I take them out to this sailboat that's anchored out there, and they're supposed to pay me $400 or whatever it was, which is a lot of money to me back then.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of money.
And then the guy says, "Well, we'll have to pay you when we." No, you said you had a lot of money. That's why you need to get the boat right away.
Right.
That's why I skipped class
Yeah.
to
Right,
come
to do
down
this.
here.
Yeah. So that's how you got your
And,
Bitcoin.
and then they said, "Well,
That's why he brought the gun.
Well,
Yeah.
you have to-
Yeah,
and
right.
so that's exactly the story.
Yeah.
The story was, you're on your boat, but I've got the gun. And if you don't want holes in your boat, you can pay me the money you promised me before I drove you all the way down here."
If anybody's hearing that, it's not a plane taking off. It's a tugboat going down the ditch behind
Towboat
us.
going by.
We do this live on Thursdays from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. We're going to take one quick promotional break, and then we will be right on back to kind of close things out. We are so glad that you've joined us so far on this beautiful Thursday here from Doc's Steaks and Seafood with the trout and the redfish.
From the first glass of water in the morning to the clean dishes after dinner and every refreshing shower in between, water is part of everything we do. That's why Corpus Christi...
Everybody's in favor of water.
It's
Okay.
a water ad.
Greg, are you glad
Naturally,
you're not
yes.
there? You glad you're not
Hey,
there?
everybody.
Yeah, we're on. We're so we
Yeah.
are
I'm in
live on
favor of
YouTube.
water. We just got to figure out where to get it.
Yeah.
So Dan,
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Grimsbow
Yeah.
lost that race.
Right.
He lost that race, and And I told him the other day, he said, gosh, maybe that was the best thing that could happen to me is to lose that race.
Yeah. I mean,
And I said,
we said that
I'm
about
going to
Van
quote,
Suckley yesterday.
I'm going to quote Garth Brooks with that song that's thank God for unanswered prayers.
Yeah.
Well, he would have voted yes, and then we wouldn't be having all these discussions.
I don't know. Yeah.
He would have been a yes vote.
He would have been a yes vote, and that would have been, and then Everett probably would have voted yes because he wanted to be in the winning side, and then we wouldn't be here.
But
Right.
you notice I've stopped talking about that because I've got I'm water weary.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
And
beating
now
a
this
dead
gotten
seahorse.
so people are
Beating
actually
the dead seahorse.
Seahorse.
You're
losing
welcome for that
friendships
one.
over this
Yes.
deal.
Yeah. There's a
They
lot of
take
money
one
at
side or
stake.
the other. It's like it's getting almost militant. Like, well, if you don't believe in this and you hate the country, and or, and,
Yeah.
I can't be friends with you. It's just gotten really crazy.
If you don't want
And
this
the
water-
point is, as you know more than anyone, Greg, there is so many nuances to every one of these plans.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is way more
Yep.
complicated than the public
It is
thinks.
way more complicated.
And
Everything
you
is more
start
complicated.
getting into things that you'll learn more about water than you ever expected
Yep.
was out there to learn.
Yep.
About plans, water
Yeah.
plans, and
Yep.
all the stuff that Greg had to learn. And
Yeah. And,
and you
So
think
all the
it's
great
just-
basketball coaches are driving cabs.
right.
Yeah.
Everybody's an expert. You
Yeah.
build a bridge, people drive by. Now they're now they're a bridge expert.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we're making a lot of progress. That's one thing we've worked ourselves into a frenzy.
What's going on over here with Barney Davis? Is there anything we can?
Yeah, there's a lot going on with
That's a
Barney.
good question. San Antonio bought Barney Davis.
that's right. I
And they
forgot
have
about
an
that.
intake and discharge permit. So
550 million gallons a day on the intake, and they've got a take permit for 6 million gallons.
Yeah.
I did a presentation Monday night.
Yeah, sorry I missed that.
Yeah, at Flower Bluff Community Council, and we had about
Citizen-
400 online listening to
Wow.
it. But
Interesting.
there was a lot of Barney conversation, and somebody asked me the question, why didn't we do Barney?
That's a good question.
I couldn't answer it.
Well,
No.
one of
Right.
the issues is it's going to be a lot more expensive for the intake and discharge if you go offshore with it. at Barney
Well,
Davis.
you've already got the intake, 550 million gallons
Right.
a day.
But the discharge got to go off, and it is if they will let you, because they sure wouldn't let us, to port. If they'll let you suck that much water out of Laguna Madre, where all the larvae and where all the
Oh, that permit's existing. It's
Yeah,
there.
it's existing.
Yeah. It's not if.
So is the San Antonio water system going to take all that water and
Well,
pipe it
there's
upstream?
a transmission line that ends at Barney. It's a 42-inch transmission
It's the Power
line.
Hour with Larry
Depending on which engineer you
Elizondo, the
talk to,
Godfather,
you know,
who
40,
makes
50
street
million gallons
sense
a day.
meet common sense.
It's,
now, live
so
from Doc's Seafood
about
and Steaks,
$80 million
it's
of the
Island
Inner
Moon
Harbor cost
Thursdays.
was getting the water from that location over to the
And we're back.
navigation pump station. You don't need that for
Yeah,
Barney.
you got a big pipe. It
Right.
runs across 2 miles of my property.
We're talking about, for those who just came back, we're talking about the Barney Davis
Yeah.
plant,
As an
which was
option for
recently bought
desal.
by the San Antonio Water System.
Yeah, so
That's
Greg, give us
right.
a quick
Interestingly
update.
enough.
We've got about 5 minutes left getting towards the end of this. Give us a quick update as far as Barney Davis and what we're up against here.
Well, one of the big things is we've really dropped our reliance on the lakes. 15 months ago, we were getting 58% of our water out of the lakes. We've dropped that down to 33%. So we all look at the lake report, but that in itself stretches the lakes out on there. But with Barney, so the city of San Antonio, as we said, owns it. So that there's kind of the early discussions going on right now. Because it's
and
such a
navigation
logical thing.
too. Both of the power plants, the one at navigation as well.
Yeah, the one on navigation, but back in 2014, I was telling you, it was RWE. I was talking, they were looking at that navigation plant. Getting into the city's infrastructure is more difficult. It's on the, you'd have to go under the ship channel with it.
Right.
There. There's a little bit of kickback with the discharge. They don't have a take permit. You've got a couple of different kind of permits. So with Barney, you can take 550 million gallons, recirculate it. Right now, their existing permit to keep is about 6 million gallons a day.
Right.
But that gets you to the point that you have to do a pilot plant by state law with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So they could put the pilot plant right in there right now on there under existing permits. The plant itself takes 300,000 gallons a day. So not only could they do this pilot plant on there, but that's 300,000 gallons a day of load you can take off the system. That's another positive on it. The electrical infrastructure, you've got
It's
the
a power-
largest.
It's a power plant.
It's the largest power plant in South Texas, but more importantly, it connects to the regional grid.
It does.
So you've got all these transmission lines coming in or out. So whether the power plant's going or not going, it doesn't matter because
Right.
you've got this huge regional substation on it. So there's no issue with power. It's 22 feet high in elevation, so people say, well, how about a storm on it? So it's got plenty of elevation.
It's been through a
with
few.
Well, if it's owned by San Antonio Water Systems,
Who did
what are
they-
the chances that the city of Corpus Christi can get water from it?
Well, I think they're really good on there. So in the last legislative session, it's called a PUA. So this allows for partnerships on there within the water system. Senator Adam Hinojosa, who's been very active behind the scenes on water, he's the one that carried the bill with
Right.
it. And it really kind of fits. What this would allow is the city of San Antonio and the city of Corpus Christi to partner together, and you'd have another entity. They would be partners. Think about this, folks. You take a lot of politics out of it. So
Yeah.
then they would be partners in this separate entity, which would have its own board.
Right.
You don't have to worry about what some voters are saying or something like that. They're thinking about one
But
thing.
San Antonio needs water,
Meeting
and
behind
so you're going to
closed
have
doors.
to compel them to share, aren't you? I mean, they're not going to just voluntarily give us water. They need water too. That's why they bought the plant.
Yeah.
Well, no, they bought the plant for power.
Power, yeah.
Yeah, they did not buy it
Strictly
for
for
water.
power.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the state could compel them to share, or would that be necessary?
No, it's not necessary on there. It's the thing. Okay, San Antonio, you're using power. You're not paying any property tax on here. Hey,
Right.
we need a little bit of sugar with it because you've taken this very
well, that
bad.
pie could get cut in Austin.
Yeah. So there's some negotiating going on with that, and then you think about it on a longer term basis. So you've got Choke Canyon. Choke Canyon is closer to San Antonio than
Right.
it is Corpus Christi. Okay, San Antonio, let's get together.
Do a
let's-
water swap.
Let's partner up on there. We're going to build a capacity to alleviate what we're taking on Choke. You take the Choke stuff. Your pipeline cost is about a quarter of what
goes
it would
down.
be
Right.
if you go
Right,
down
right.
for desal.
Well, it seems
So-
like, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues
lot
that
of
we could
synergy.
get down to, and
Yeah.
there's the right way to get things done, and there's the way that we're doing them. And
You're kind of late to the game too.
yeah.
But the permits to get started are already there. If you didn't have the permits
Barney
on
Davis.
there,
At Barney Davis.
At
Yeah.
Barney Davis, yeah. Nueces Bay, they don't have a take permit, so you don't have that, and it's a little bit wartier of the two.
All right. Well, we're getting down to the end of it here on a beautiful Island Moon Thursday. We're so glad that you joined us. On behalf of Jay Gardner, Anna Swanson,
yeah.
Nick Meyer, Dr. Brian Gully, Debbie Noble,
Nick Colosi,
Chris,
fireworks.
Nick,
Yeah.
Nick
Colosi,
Pelosi,
fireworks.
Dale Rankin. My name is Jacob Oggs, and we are glad that you made us part of your morning. So we're going to leave you with a little Patsy Jones and turn
Patsy.
this over to Eric Von Wade. Clear your glasses so you can see through to the mushroom cloud of truth. coming at
Nancy
you
was a
shortly.
great Islander.
Thank you. Thank you all. This is KUKA, Driscoll, Texas, 105.9, 103.3, and on Retro Tejano, 104.1.
On my island, it doesn't take long to get sand in your veins, 'cause there's just something about Port Aransas that will